The Spanish Announce Table.
It is pro wrestling's best podcast. It is our Thanksgiving special. If you're down. Tom. Whoa. AEW Full Gear this weekend. Possibly the greatest Texas death match of all time. Is there anything different about a death match or a Texas death match? Anyway.
Yes.
Possibly the greatest match of all time in that regard. Happened over the weekend. We'll talk about it as we go along. We've got somebody left us a voicemail on the Spanish Announce voice answering machine, right? I fuck that up every time. Tom, I'm excited to talk about all of this and more and talk to our friends in the chat here on the YouTube live right now as we do this show every week. Every week? Sometimes we do it now on Wednesdays, right? Normally we do it Thursdays, but Thursday here in America, it's a holiday. We don't want to fuck with that, right? Nobody wants to jump in after all their football and their turkey. Actually, people probably would love this podcast on a third. But anyway, we're doing it tonight, Tom. I'm excited. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm having a real bad pain all of a sudden. That kind of sucks.
Oh, really? All right. Well, I'll keep it rolling. We've got
no, it's fine.
Jeffrey in the chat. Oh, okay, all right.
What I was going to say is pro wrestling podcasts on Thanksgiving can also be problematic. As you recall, the podcast that ended a lifelong friendship and created so many lawsuits was dropped when Colt Cabana talked to CM Punk, and that was the doctors were trying to fuck me. Ryback is dangerous. They fired me on my wedding day. That's the most popular podcast on the Thanksgiving day I could ever recall.
Well,
so obviously, we don't want to end this by having controversy. So,
well, yeah,
we're doing it tonight.
I got nothing you're going to sue me for. So, what do you?
No, there's plenty I could sue you for. We'll get to
it. You can have all the debt. All right.
Oh,
Jeffrey Sills in the chat. He says, "What up, turds?" He also says, "Shout out to the Midwest bad boys, Tim and Tom." This Spanish Announce Table with a bunch of emojis on there, and I'm too old to see him from this far away. And Jeffrey Sills also says, "All I want to know is, do you swerve when you drive?" It's also a little, the lights are fucking, they're in my face.
Oh, it's the lights, it's the time of day, allergies.
Cataracts, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All the things. All the things. So, Tom, everybody should join the chat when we do this. If you don't know when we're going to do it, you can find out by subscribing to us at SpanishAnnounceTable.net. When you go to SpanishAnnounceTable.net, you put in your email. It is completely free, $99, and you can get all these little, not all of them. You're going to get one a week when it says, "Hey, going live tonight," and you can jump in and join in the chat like Jeffs do, like Theo normally does. And man, I'm excited to talk about some wrestling. Tom, you ready to listen to the voice machine, or you got anything else in your life that you I want to listen. Nah,
this is therapy for
cares?
you. I know. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to be like, you know what? Let's talk about old ladies. All right.
Yeah, no, nothing about old ladies, right? I mean, come on. Jesus Christ. Tits hitting their knees. We don't need to fucking talk about them assholes. God damn.
Yeah. This podcast took a turn, I felt like. All right, so Tom,
Speaking of turns,
you know this,
old
Tom?
women can't do that.
That's true.
They don't swerve when they drive. They can't
happened to me. That actually happened to me today, or the other day. I was leaving a place, getting ready to drive home, and a car drives. I'm getting ready to turn left, and I'm waiting on a car to go in front, and the car behind it turns off of the road, and as it's doing that, it looks at me and it's just shaking its head like, "What the fuck?" And I'm just like, "Oh, that was weird." And then I turned, and I very quickly figured out what that person was so pissed off about for the next 5 minutes behind this old lady who I really was thinking, I was like, I might, the cop shop was right on the left. And I was like, I might pull over here and tell them, you got to, this lady's going to fucking kill somebody. It was bad. Old lady drivers. Anyway, Tom, enough about that. We're going to talk about pro wrestling. But you know what? Before we talk about what we planned on, what we sit down and put on paper that we decided we want to talk about, we want to know what the fans talk about, what they want to hear us talk about, all that kind of stuff. So you can get on Twitter, use hashtag tweet. Are we still telling people to do that? Let's not.
We got a couple.
Oh, did we? We got some tweet the tables?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to pull those up. All right, before we pull those up, let's talk about other ways you can contact us. You can go on Twitter, use hashtag tweet the table, and we'll read them on the show. Normally I'll pull up a little graphic, but I didn't realize anybody was still on Twitter anymore. We do live tweets, so follow us on there. As long as it's alive and lets you live tweet, we'll do it there. don't really condone anything going on in Twitter offices or anything like that, but if it's available, use that. Use hashtag tweet the table. We will do that, and we'll try to do that later today. But you can also send us an email to tableshow@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice or a video clip. Try to keep them short, right? Like this show is, calm it down. And one of the best who does this very frequently is Ash Hendricks. He left us a Spanish announce voicemail. Tom, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey boys, what's good? It's Ash. Right, so just for some context here, right, I've only just started tuning into Dynamite. Full Gear is a little, like, in about 3 hours from now, or whatever the fuck it is. I'm literally watching Dynamite now, but I had something I wanted to say, and I don't know if it's going to be outdated. I don't really care. It is what it is. Let's go. Right. You know what annoys me with AEW sometimes is, like, this stop-start booking, because I don't think they know what they're trying to do with everybody at all the same time, which I mean, every fucking company has a problem with that, but, like, somewhat annoys me now. I've literally just seen Hook come across my screen. He's standing next to Orange Cassidy, and Hook barely got a pop. And remember, this dude was over as fuck when he first came out here, and it's like he's playing second fiddle to another group, and it makes me think, right, if we're just going to keep him second fiddle whilst we build him and make him, like, a more confident, seasoned performer, what was the point in him fucking leaving Team Taz and not being with Starks and not being with Will Hobbs? Because I'm looking at the three of those guys in particular, and that you could argue that they're in the same spot as they were when they were all together. Like, they turned Ricky heel. I mean, they turned Ricky face because we got popular to turn him heel again. They only just got Hobbs popping again recently, and Hook is not doing anything. And I'm thinking, you could have kept the three of these guys together, and they could have been, like, in different spots right now. And it's like, it seems unnecessary, because these are all three guys that need to do something, and besides Starks now, they're not really doing anything. You know what I mean? Not doing anything worthwhile, that's showing to their, like, possibilities and potential. That's what I'm saying. And it just frustrates me, because they be doing that a lot. They did that with Wardlow, and they're now getting Wardlow back together. They start Lance Archer all the time. You know, like they push Sheeta, and then they don't push Sheeta. They keep her off, and then they put the belt on her twice, and it's just weird. Like this start booking and hot potatoing and everything. It annoys me. Anyways, I just have to get that out there. Sorry I haven't been on the last 2 weeks. I definitely forgot to record messages, but here I am back now. I may send another one as the week progresses, but we'll see. And until then, you've got this one. Peace. Have a good show. Love yous.
Awesome. Love you too. And last time he told us to drown, so that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Hey, look, week to week, you never know.
Up and down. Yeah, where are you? Yeah. Tom was close to punch me in the face several times. You never know. You never know.
Today.
All right, so today, yeah, if he could have, like, virtually, digitally punched me through the screen, he might have done it.
No, when you were here, I was going to punch you in the face.
Yeah, that's true. I was there. You know why I was there?
We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about what the caller had to say.
That's all right. Yeah. Gosh, see, you could have seen the big grin on my face if you were watching this live, podcast listeners. Tom, Ash is correct.
Mm-hmm.
They being AEW, has made just decisions sometimes, because it felt like making a decision, right? And I know sometimes you're like, we got to do something. This feels stale. And, we might be some of the stuff that fuels that, we being the collective, like, IWC, right? Because we're like, this sucks, this is boring, and they go, okay, and, sometimes we don't know what we want, right? Vince McMahon wasn't necessarily wrong in that statement. I mean, he's a little more sinister with what he meant by it than I think what it really means. And yes, could Team Taz still be a thing that had legs and be going? And yes, it all relies, though, on subtle storytelling over time with realistic interactions between humans. I'll talk about some examples where they're doing it right now as we talk about Dynamite, right? And when we get to it, because we kind of go through Dynamite chronologically if you're sticking around with us, right? So I'll show you some ideas of where they do it right. And to be honest with the Team Taz thing, they never really did do it right in many ways, right? A couple times when they did the breakup story, like maybe they did some things right there, but yes. In hindsight, though, I think it's easier to say that, right, than to, when you're in the moment, to think, if we keep sticking with this Team Taz thing. So I don't necessarily blame them a whole lot, but yes, I do feel like sometimes, man, you guys gave up on some things too quickly, right? Even for as much as we've shit on them for some things that they've stuck around with too long, right? Not to give a tepid take here, but no, he's not wrong. Like there's been some things where we're like, you could have done something with that, but then you just shit on it, and then you just put them over here, and now they're doing the same thing. So, but that's a lot of pro wrestling. A lot of people do that.
I'm convinced. So the narrative, whether we know it's accurate or not, but the narrative that hasn't been fought by anyone from AEW is that Tony Khan controls everything that we see, right? Everything that we're seeing. Now, a lot of people like to call him, the snowman Tony Khan, and allude to like cocaine. And that's why we're starting to see start-stop booking. I disagree. Now, whether he does cocaine or not, I don't know. I don't care. But I'm saying as far as the decisions on our television, I've come to the belief, whether it's right or wrong, that he has 3 to 4 stories that he wants to tell. So, for example, right now, he wants to tell the MJF story. He wants to tell the Christian Cage story. He is ramping up to tell the Sting story as we get to his final match. And he wants to tell a women's story. Usually that's right now, it seems as if Sky Blue is the story he wants to tell, or Timeless Tony Storm, right? Those are your handful of stories. Everything else, I'm convinced, is legitimately not that he listens to the crowd, like but it's, oh, wait a minute, that's getting traction. Okay, go. And then, all right, well, that was kind of cool. Okay, good. Well, then what's the next thing? Oh, wait a minute. Hey, you know who's in town? Because it's his hometown. It's Shawn Spears. So let's do that, because that would make sense. The crowd would love it, which they would, right? Like in the one night Shawn Spears shows up, that's great for the crowd, and they like it. And local media might even say, local guy Shawn Spears wrestles tonight, right? So I think he only has these stories, right? These stories in his hand. And then everything else is just okay, that's cool. Nope. Okay, cool. Like, cause it's not important to him. The important thing is the meat and potatoes. So that's why Lance Archer shows up, because we need a big guy to lose to Hangman. Well, who's the biggest guy that can take a loss? It's Lance Archer.
That's
right?
Here tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was in Texas, like the Texas Death Match is what I'm thinking. So we got him out there, boom, and it's done. But that's not his intent. He doesn't care. I mean, obviously he cares about people, but like he doesn't care about the Lance Archer character right now. And that's the problem. I think if you were to, in my opinion, the best booking, this is just me, is tiered. If you say these 3 writers, whatever we're saying, bookers, whatever the term is that you want to say, their whole intent with AEW is to establish the star, right? Hook, for example, we need to establish him to be whatever it is. Now, that might take 6 months. That might take 2 weeks, right? CM Punk just says, send Hook, and we're fucking off to the races, right? Like, that's how it all started. You know what I mean? So you have a certain set of people that all their intent is, they don't care about the main event, right? The title picture is not even something that is on their job responsibilities. It's established stars. Then it's a secondary group of the mid-card guys, right? Okay, so Hook got 4 wins. He has the FTW championship. What now? Oh, right? And then Tony Khan can be the guy that says, yeah, that's all cool, right? All those fun things. But these 4 stories is what I want to tell. And then you get that week to week. Then it would be more coherent, because, again, I don't think it's on his radar that he knows that, Sheeta was on last week, but she's not on this week.
I imagine you know what I'm about to talk about here because of your degree. Newspapers, which is an old guy reference here. The editor, right? Their job was never really like, I mean, they had a few things that they know, like, hey, we've got to tell this story, this story, this story, this story. And other people are out here writing those stories, right? And they bring them in and they go, this was a good job writing this story. Yeah, can you change this and this and this because this guy did this over here, and like we're gonna put this actually over here on this spot instead of this one, so like we need it to flow that way better. Make that change, and they go okay, and they come back to him, and then that guy comes over and he's like, hey, I made this story right for this person, like you're saying for Hook, and he goes, hey, this kind of really sucks. Can I get a rewrite? Right? Or, you know what I mean? Or this is amazing. It's going right here. In fact, I'm going to move it to the top spot, right? Because it's so good. That's how you kind of get that oversight, right? And that's kind of not, look, we don't know. We're not behind the scenes, but kind of feels like that's not how it's flowing there in AEW, or not even necessarily that's how it flew in WWE either. I don't know. Again, look, I don't know. Don't own a professional wrestling organization. So
right, yeah.
I don't know. But
I think
I know Cirque du Soleil. Like, we always reference it to Cirque du Soleil, right? They travel. Right. They have a bunch of characters.
Yeah, but that's different. They always have the same story.
But it's the same story and it's the same character, right? A person can play the same character and no different.
For years.
Right? So that is different, right? It is much different, and it's going to take a lot more. Look, I don't know. Look, it's not my money to say, right? But like maybe you have to have a few more, right? Like you have to have writers that can be there all the time, on the road constantly, and so like. You've got to have a crew of folks traveling and those kind of things like, oh, shit, we thought it was going to be Lance Archer. He's out. We had to figure out a state over. Other, fill in the blank big guy was available, so we pulled him in. We got to write something for that now, right? Like, shit's got to happen. I understand. But I don't know, man. Like, it feels like it could be done, right? It feels like we could, like, we workshop a way here that, like, I feel like you could accommodate this where it doesn't just feel disjointed like Ash is noticing here.
Yeah. My worry with that as Tony Khan as editor is he's such a, and again, I've never met him. I scissored him one time. I scissored him one time. That's all. But I think he's such a wrestling fan that if you were to say, hey, I've got the story for Hook for next week, he's going to be like, yeah, but that's not what we want to see. Yeah. And then you're like, but it's good. No, it's good, but I don't want to see it. We're like, all right, well, shit. That's why I think you need to say, if he could commit to it. Now, that's another hurdle to cross. But if you were to say, hey, Tony, we get 35 minutes a week on Dynamite and Collision, split it up however you want, but we get that time. And he says, sure, but I don't give a fuck, right? Like, unless it starts to get on my radar that Powerhouse Hobbs now is super over, I don't pay attention. I'm paying attention to who's the devil, right? If that was the method, I think that would work pretty successful because then you're saying, hey, Tony, don't bother, right? Invest in what you want to talk about. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I feel like would work.
The only thing there, I think you're right. With their current kind of level of crew, you could take the same amount of guys and like you're saying, where you just say, Tony, these are your stories, you get this time. John, these are your stories, you get this time. Mike, you get or whatever, right? Let me any white guy name.
And then,
but then yeah.
Well, I was going to say, and then Tony Khan can say, hey, I'm taking that from you, right? Because he is the owner, right? So if it's Will or Yuta, right? It probably would never be, but like Will or Yuta starts to be the biggest thing in the world, then he goes, oh, hey, I'm going to take that because I got an idea. Okay, great. Yeah. Now I'm taking someone from the starter crew who's going to be Willow Nightingale or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, I would just attack it a little more. And I think they do this specifically with MJF stories. A little more planned out, like over a course of a couple months, right? And I think it takes the editor. Now, should that be Tony Khan? Probably not, right? So, like you're saying, Tony Khan gets 35 minutes. The editor goes, okay, I'm going to put these here. I'm going to mix that in with this, and you know what I mean? Tony Khan's obviously going to, whoever owns the place is probably going to throw some veto power around once in a while, I'm sure. But like, in fact, it sounded like that's the way they were going to go over on the WWE Endeavor side of things with the McMahon thing. And then it sounds like they really were like, okay, you really suck. You really got to get out of here. Like you're done out of there. So, I don't know, man. That's a simple solution. I think that at least, like you're saying, you might get some disjointedness with like, hey, you told very similar stories there right back to back. But at least, it's not the same person who ran out of ideas trying to tell the seventh story, right?
Yeah. I think the reason why MJF specifically right now is so heavily invested is he's the main character of AEW. Right? I think after Hangman lost his world championship to CM Punk, the main character changed. I think the first 3 years of AEW, the main character was Hangman Adam Page. I know that Moxley was champion, Jericho and all that, but the main person week to week was always, what is Hangman? How does Hangman? And then he got the championship. Yeah. And then once he lost it to Punk, now backstage things, whatever, it was, okay, MJF now is going to be the focus.
the devil and all of that stuff. And now it's still continuing to who is the devil going after MJF, all that. So yeah, I think that's
they had to sidebar with when the Punk thing threw up, so they kind of like
exactly.
Then they got back there, yeah.
So I think Tony Khan writes, and this is just my opinion of how I've seen the weekly television, is there is a main character that might change, but right now it's MJF. Before it was Hangman. Next it might be Swerve, right? We don't know, but the next person
could be Danhausen.
I think easy. Danhausen has to stay healthy.
He's very nice, very evil,
very fragile. Can't stay healthy. When was the last time he stayed healthy for a year? Yeah, Fragile.
So, all right. AEW Dynamite happened last night. Oh, you know what? We did have some Tweet the Tables. I had them up earlier. Let's hit those up real quick. Let me do them.
All right, let's do it.
Tweet the Table. You can use hashtag Tweet the Table to talk to us on the Twitter, and we'll bring them up. Normally, like I said, I try to bring up a graphic, but you know what? Missed it. Sorry. Didn't realize they were still happening. Katie, the First Lady, says, how sad is it, by the way, that Zelina and Mia Yim were the only two options for women's war games? We need fresh women on this show, not having to get someone for the other roster who has nothing to do with this. Hashtag SmackDown, hashtag Tweet the Table. I'm going to be real honest with you. I have not watched SmackDown in months. I don't know what's going on over there. Yeah, if you would have told me there was a women's war games going on, I would have said with who?
Becky Lynch, probably. That's who I'd guess.
I don't even know. Apparently, Zelina and Mia Yim are in it.
Couldn't even tell you.
Look, and this is not to be rude to Katie the First Lady. We love Katie the First Lady, but I can't.
Love her.
We've talked about this WWE thing, and I have there was a while back since the last time I watched it where I thought, I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I've been shitting on it too long. People are liking some of these storylines. We try to give it a thing. I hear McMahon's honestly on his way out now that Endeavor's giving him the, yeah, thanks, Grandpa. Thanks for selling us the company, dork. Kind of a move, which is great. That I was like, all right, let me give it a shot and just, I don't know. It's still just meaningless.
It's all paint by numbers. It's like, I don't watch WWE. I haven't. And honestly, I haven't since I don't watch. I will watch segments. I'm not going to act like I didn't see a segment, right? I'm not going to be that cool guy in the IWC. I've seen segments. However, full transparency, I watch holiday, Halloween, or spring baking championships on Monday night, or during the football season, Monday Night Football. So I don't watch Raw, and Friday nights, I'm definitely not watching SmackDown because I'm usually obligated to go somewhere or do something, right? Now, with that being said, up until 2 weeks ago, because that was the final straw, I was watching on Tuesday mornings the recap from Wrestle Talk of Raw and then Saturdays of SmackDown. So I would know what would happen, but I never saw it, right? It would just be this guy would say, and then Charlotte Flair came, right? So I would just listen to what the show was in 5 minutes or something, 7 minutes, right? And nothing of it sounded interesting. It all sounded like, oh, okay, so we're doing that thing again, right? Now, I watched it Tuesday morning. I did give up on it 2 weeks ago, but then it came up on my recommended because I live on YouTube. So it came back into my life, right? I clicked on it. Why the fuck not?
Thanks, algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. I said no, but you brought it back in like an ex-girlfriend.
We know. You always say no, you little tease.
But they said how the fifth member of the men's war game was announced, and it was so fucking lame. Now, I'm not going to act like AEW fucking knocked out of the park when they hold on.
Let me guess. Well, okay.
Well, hold on.
Well,
I'm going to tell you something before. Yeah. I'm not going to act like AEW knocked it out of the park when they did the Kota Ibushi video and he wasn't there, right? So I'm not saying that AEW was faultless. They fucking sucked on that too.
Or how would you we've got an amazing signing, and then it's like a guy we've already featured 14 times.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right, so you're telling me there's a men's war game match. Is it brand specific?
Fuck, I don't know. It's a mystery fifth person for the good guys.
Can you tell me who the four are?
Yeah, it's Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. because obviously they would all get along.
Who are they facing?
Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, shit, I was going to guess Drew McIntyre. Sheamus.
Oh, that would have been fun. No. Do you want me to tell you?
Just tell me.
Okay. So I'll tell you how they did it, though. Okay. So it was Randy Orton, right? Randy Orton is the fifth person.
For real? Okay. All right. Can he walk?
Well, we'll find out because
was it what did he get injured from? Sorry, I know I'm interrupting, but
I don't know.
Anyway,
wrestling. He got hurt from wrestling. You know, yeah. They're in car crashes every day.
That old dong cast idea we had. He's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be wearing pants. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the way they said it is Cody had an old friend that he could call on because Seth ran out of options. Jey Uso ran out of options. Sami Zayn ran out of options.
They're
no
friends.
one could be this fifth person. And Cody said, I have an old friend. Right? Oh, okay. Who is it going to be? Because I think what they were trying to say is, remember when Rhodes and Punk were in AEW together? I think that's what they're trying to allude to without telling you, right? But then they get to the main event segment and Cody goes, I've got an old friend. Some could say he's a legacy friend. Some could say he's at the apex of his whatever it was, right? And then the crowd is chanting Randy Orton, right? And so he goes, the crowd knows who it is, but he doesn't say it, and Randy Orton doesn't appear. That's the show. Fade to black.
That's weird.
I would be so fucking pissed if I was at that show and be like, you telling me Randy Orton's here? No. But you're telling me it's Randy Orton. Yeah. Well, what the fuck?
So here's where they could instantly get my viewership back. If instead of what that was, if he's like, I got a friend, some could say he's a legacy friend, and they bring out DiBiase Jr., but he's the new Nails because he's in a jumpsuit and he's like in prison.
Right. Oh, I got 1 week in me.
Somebody unreleases his chains and he fucking goes and attacks, and then he like beats the guy up and they put him back in chains and throw him back in the cage.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
He's a con artist. All right, that'd be great. Yeah, that sounds lame.
But I get why
Cody
they did
Rhodes.
Well, Cornball Cody, of course. But I get why they did it a week ahead because it's not going to be CM Punk, so they didn't want. It's the mystery, and the whole crowd in Chicago chants CM Punk, and then they're let down because it's
ask for
Randy
refunds
Orton.
and shit.
Right,
right.
However, and again, AEW fucked this up too. If you're gonna tell me that the brand new person in a team we're signing is in the company, he's got to be, or she has got to be in the fucking show. Like, you can't just mention it and go, oh, that's it. Like, you got to have the payoff of an RKO or a fucking pose, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did you screw that up? Triple H, lifelong wrestling fan. Like,
do you see why
he's not good?
No,
I was gonna say he's not good week to week. I will say this till I'm blue in the face or it changes. No, Triple H.
Oh,
go back to NXT. Yeah. Everyone has the biggest hard-ons for takeovers, deservingly so. A lot of those takeover shows fucking ruled. Watch the weekly show getting to it, and it's boring as fuck. It is the most boring hour or whatever it was you could possibly have with an awesome payoff. And that's exactly what Raw and SmackDown are. Just fucking boring. Get me to the pay-per-view. Big fucking cool moment. Go back to the same shit.
So let's put this in some context, right? Football, right? And I do this because a lot of our, like I've seen the demographic numbers. We got a lot of dudes that listen to our podcast and watch our show, right? You get a coach, right? Which Triple H would be a coach in this essence, right? When you amass a team, you can play in a very specific scheme and get folks very specific to that scheme, right? And try to do that scheme very perfectly with those folks. Or you can just go like, I'm going to get the best group of dudes I can find, right? Like best talent, and just throw them out there and like, we're just going to be better athletes than y'all, right? And I feel like Triple H goes that way, right? And so, yeah, we get like, wow, holy shit, right? Like those guys did a banger of a 1 hour match where they beat the shit out of each other, Sheamus and, Walter, right? Or like, oh my God, you see all the flips and shit? And they did all that, right? And like you're saying, like the stories though week to week, I feel like Tony Khan is trying to do the other way maybe not doing it so well, right? Where he's like, I've got these ideas and I'm going to do these stories and I'm going to bring in these guys to do it. And like, you know what I mean? They may not be the prototypical, you know, pro wrestlers over there, that kind of thing. So yeah, the Triple H thing, again, like there's no stories here. The Bloodline storyline is being told. I don't know who's writing that, who's headlining it. I feel like Paul Heyman has a lot of influence over that. And it's long and drawn out, and it should have died a long time ago. And outside of that, I haven't been excited in a storyline over there in anything. And I wouldn't even say I was ever really excited about the Bloodline one. I don't know. I do know that I like Katie the First Lady and hashtag Tweet Table. I like Katie the First Lady so much. I'm going to read another one of hers later when we're talking about AEW, along with another one from Mr. Fourth Row. And so as long as Twitter exists, you can use the hashtag Tweet the Table. I'm going to have to remember to check it, to be honest with you. And Tom tweets there every night if you're still on the Twitter. So follow that along, right?
Not every night. Every AEW night.
Every AEW Dynamite. Did you do it tonight? Yeah. I didn't catch. Yes. I wasn't.
God damn! Yes, I did. Thanks for the support, Tim. Jesus Christ. A
busy guy. Places to see people to do. You know what I mean?
We all got shit. Okay, pal. We all got shit.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
I got a fucking tumor. Okay, and I'm coming through.
I know. Right. I know. Well, you were tweeting.
Yeah.
I know. Watch you tweet. I knew you had it handled. I got to watch you tweet.
Micromanaging
your tweets. Yeah.
I like it.
No, yeah, that's true. I could like it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you could like it. You could show support for me. But you don't. Shocker. Let's talk about the next one, right? We got another one?
No, I'm going to save them for when they come up in our Full Gear discussion, which we're going to talk about Full Gear as we discuss tonight's AEW Dynamite, because they hit on a lot of the fallout from AEW Full Gear. And if we missed anything, we'll catch up at the end and discuss there. And some of these tweets relate to that. So we'll stay with that.
Definitely.
Now, speaking of AEW Full Gear, Tom, if you listened to last week's episode.
Hey, no. We'll talk about it later. Let's just talk about it later. No one needs to know right now.
We got to talk about it now. We've already got people talking about it in the chat. We can't deny the fans what they want to see. I thought for a second, I was like, did I miss something? Did Tom say we should hold this till later? No.
No.
We do a predictions where before the pay-per-view, we all go like, all right, we're going to predict these matches, right? And by and large, we were right. One of us was 7-2, and the other one of us was 6-3. That's a pretty decent clip of predictions. But we put stakes on these predictions, right? We compete against each other. And the loser, as of late, has had to wear a shirt of the best wrestler of all time, Jeff Jarrett. And currently, if you'll notice, I am wearing a Spanish Announce Table t-shirt, which you can buy on Pro Wrestling Tees. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Spanish Announce Table and buy you one of these shirts for $20-ish based on the selectable versions of your choice. Now, Tom, the shirt you're wearing, however, doesn't look to be a Spanish Announce Table shirt.
It's not. It's Hook. Wait a minute.
It's not.
What did you do this? Why did you? Look at this asshole.
How did you get this shirt on me?
How did you put this I'm looking at the YouTube. How'd you do this? Fuck you, Tim. You and your wizard Photoshop. I never wear a Jeff Jarrett shirt.
Did you see what I'm saying about how it's off-centered? How it's not the you keep wanting to you're like, no, I gotta fucking get it.
This shirt sucks. I hate it. Yeah. I don't like anything about it. I don't like the colors. I don't like his face. I don't even like the goddamn guitar. Shocker. I don't like guitars.
I told you, it's weird. It's a weird shirt. I said at the same time, it makes you fell cold, but it also burns. I was like, I don't know how he managed that. Jeff Jarrett is a weird guy.
He's the worst. I hate him. Hate him with all my heart. I'd tell it to anyone who'll listen. I hate the man. I hope all the worst things in the world happen to him and only him. Now I feel like those things are going to happen to me because I got.
You say you were like, this even smells like a carnival.
It smells like a carny piece of shit. It even smells like a carny piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
Fucking. It smells like a Gold Scheme ripoff. You know, it smells like banging another man's wife. It smells like putting a promotion down the tubes with a horrible name. It smells like getting your old friends from a piece of shit company that went out of business just to bury young talent that would be very good otherwise. It smells like a motherfucker who thinks he's got talent but can't tie his own shoes. It smells like a motherfucker who has a dad who probably touched him when he was a kid. Allegedly.
Talking about Vince McMahon?
No, I'm talking about Jerry Jarrett, the other fucking weirdo in pro wrestling.
That wasn't allegedly with McMahon. Somebody molested him, right? Was it his fucking...
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying Jerry Jarrett allegedly molested Jeff. Probably, and that's why it's fucking weird.
I have no... Allegedly? Oh, I don't know. Okay, all right.
No, I'm just saying that's what it smells like. It smells like that. I'm not even saying it's real. I'm just saying it smells like that.
Jeff Jarrett.
Memphis. Who the fuck
find
cares
a way to
about
get
the
Jeff Jarrett
city
on
of
the
Memphis?
I
hope you do. I hope we do it face to face. I hope we do it.
You want to you're like, no, let's do it at your house. If you get Jeff Jarrett,
yeah, let's go right to your fucking.
Oh, wear the shirt. Huh?
I will wear the shirt. I'll smack the fucking taste out of his mouth for
fucking get him in a...
Oh, I would smack him right in his mouth for ruining some of my wrestling memories. That fucking loser prick. You know, Taylor Swift was his babysitter.
Yeah, that's weird, right? I don't like that.
I don't either. Why does he have to corrupt Taylor Swift? Fucking asshole. No wonder she started with country music. Oh,
guy at my work,
keep doing that.
Guy at my work lives in Bogota, Colombia. And on the call, we're like waiting for a call. And I haven't talked to this guy in months or weeks or whatever. So I didn't realize like he knows anything about me, right? Like other than, a few things that we talk about in large meetings. And he goes, so, are you a Swiftie now? And I was like, what? And he goes, are you a Swiftie? And I was like, are you talking about because Travis Kelce and the Chiefs? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, listen, aren't we all Swifties? I mean, I was like, really, aren't we? It's like, isn't everybody? Isn't everybody?
Hot take. I understand she's a billionaire on a level of fame that is not really surpassed by almost anyone else, right? Objectively. Travis Kelce is cooler than her in every regard.
100%.
I do not get that part. Like, I get the, hey, we're just talking about business and flirting and stuff. But like by January, now let's not say by March, right? When he's not playing, and I don't know her tour schedule. Let's say she's not. What is it? Because look at his dating history. You want to hear, Spanish Announce Table exclusive. You want to hear what I actually think? I think he's cheating on her.
Already, huh?
There's a girl. Yep. There's a girl at the NFL Network. She's from Kansas City. She was at the draft. She went to fucking Germany just to randomly say, I'm from Kansas City. This is a great atmosphere. Taylor wasn't there.
Is he cheating or is this a publicity stunt and is really dating her? And this is still all part of a media thing.
So again, this is what I think.
This is great. I love this. All right. Yeah.
No evidence.
I love this. All right. Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, wrestling fans.
Yeah, who cares?
Chiefs fans.
The news. It's the news of everyone. Everyone's fucking talking about it, right? I think this is how it went down. I think Taylor Swift came to Kansas City to do a concert. Travis, being single, thought it would be fun.
And smooth as fuck.
Well, not even that. Just that it would be fun to do a picture where he's handing her the bracelet. And now I'm famous, right? Adjacent, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. He mentions it on the podcast because it's a very, very popular podcast. Someone mentions that to Taylor. Taylor, being a nerd, then goes, he's kind of cute. I'm on the rebound. He's kind of cute.
Football guy likes me. Yeah.
Right. So then Travis is like, well, don't call my bluff. All right. What's up?
Yeah.
Then they
always ready like lunch meat, baby.
Yeah. And then they meet. And look, she's not a bad person at all. Right. She's
of course not.
fun.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And so then they hit it off. Right. Hit it off. But then, and now I think that's where the moment we're in at. I think now he's like, what the fuck is this shit? And he goes back. Well, yeah. And he goes back to his roots. Again, look at his dating history. And there's a very attractive female in Kansas City that works with the NFL that is always hanging around Arrowhead Stadium. And I think, well, that's a lot cooler girl than the one I'm with. And he doesn't know how to get the fuck out of it. Oh, the next album called Arrowhead Oh, it's going to be fucking great. I can't wait for the acoustics called Cincinnati's Better Than Kansas City or Bengals. You know, the third single is going to be called Bengals. The first single is going to be called Josh Allen or something. People are going to be like,
you Kansas City, you guys fucked up. And like,
yeah, she's going to write
a song. They win the Super Bowl and they're all going to cry about it.
Yeah. Well, and then she's going to write a song about not going to Kansas City, right? She's going to be like, oh, I left Kansas City because, you know, going to Kansas City is the most popular Kansas City song.
No, what I do understand is she's going to pepper in some slide diss that all her people are going to be like, oh, sick burn. And we're going to be like, that was dumb.
Well, and then we were like, Travis is still cooler in every regard.
Travis is cool in every regard. My wife and I were walking around, you know, one of these holiday boutiques, right, where they got all these vendors, and some people have all these like cheeky things about the Chiefs and Travis Kelce, and like it was like Kansas City, home of the hotter brother, all that kind of stuff, right? And my wife was like, you know, given the news recently that Justin Timberlake might not be a super nice dude, right, to folks, specifically ladies he's dated. Yeah, there's been some recent stuff that you know, he may have done some, you know, not so nice things to ladies. So she goes,
they deserve it?
She goes, what were they wearing? No, so she was like,
were they asking for it, Tim?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So she said, in light of that, she goes, I think I'm gonna change my hall pass to Travis Kelce, and I was like, sure, you know, whatever, right? And I was like, wait a minute, we live in the same fucking city as Travis Kelce. I was like, wait a minute, God damn it.
Yeah, no, it's got to be out of state.
Wait a minute, yeah. It's like. Yeah, hold on. Well, and even more so, it is out of state technically, but like, you know, I mean, it's got to be out of
area. Yeah,
at least 100 miles, right? Come on, give me.
Yeah. You got to consider if you would make the drive. That's how far away they have to be.
Look. I mean, there's only so many nightclubs in Kansas City. If you happen to be at one of these fucking things,
that's true. You know, that is true.
All right. Anyway. Pro wrestling. We were here to talk about pro wrestling. We got AEW Dynamite, which will lead us to talk about AEW Full Gear and why Tom was wearing that beautiful shirt because of
it's
the
not
three
beautiful,
things we predict
Tim.
Differently.
It's not fucking beautiful. It's not fucking beautiful.
It looks beautiful on you. I know that much.
Well, look, I'm not gonna make anything look bad, so we fucking know that.
Make the clothes, right?
Yeah. This is the best he's ever fucking looked in his life.
I can't help it. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long. All right, Tom, then let's talk about AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, let's talk about, speaking of the coolest people ever, let's talk about the coolest pro wrestler going today. That would be one Swerve Strickland, and he kicked off the show in the first round, I guess. I don't know. The Continental Classic is what we're talking about here. The first matchup that we see is Jay Lethal versus Swerve Strickland. Full transparency. Again, because I think more people need to help with the booking of things. I know round robin, but I don't know what that really, how many rounds, right? Are we doing double elimination? We just doing until someone gets to 12 points? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't really know what round we're in. First round, sixth round? I don't know, right? But
if I may, I believe the idea is in round robin, everybody plays everybody. Once,
but how many times?
Right? Once, like everybody.
I mean, but is that clarified?
They did not know. They should have clarified more. Right.
That's what I'm saying.
What I didn't understand, I was like, okay, there's two different groups, so I'm assuming at the end, the winners of the groups face each other. Like they haven't hit that one, right? Unless I've missed that. Have you heard that? Like I'm assuming
that would make sense.
End,
yeah.
The two winners of the groups, or do we have like 4 winners and we do another round? Like, tell me what's going on here.
Yeah, I think you're right with your first scenario. But I don't know, right? But let's talk about this. So it was Jay Lethal versus Swerve Strickland. And let's talk about first, before we get into this match, we got to talk about why the crowd was so pro Swerve Strickland. They were doing the Who's House, Swerve's House, damn near for the first 5 minutes of this match. Why, Tim, were they so pro Swerve Strickland is the coolest man in pro wrestling?
You know, I'm not sure. You know, he was involved in a match where I feel like they played it safe a little bit. You know, just wish they would have went for a big spot or something like that during this.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this Texas Death match felt like watching a car wreck, dude. It felt like watching an autopsy when you didn't know you were about to watch one.
Mm-hmm.
If I could describe it, like it's. You ever seen the Faces of Fear movies? Right, when you were younger back in the day, like or Faces of Death. I mean, excuse me, not Faces of Fear, the Faces of Death.
Maybe.
There was some old VH tapes that made their way around back in like when we used to be tape trading days of pro wrestling. There was also these tapes that went around that were Faces of Death, right? You couldn't necessarily just walk in and rent this at any video store, but it was videos of people actually dying through various measures, right? Like
Jesus,
various different things. And some unfortunate of us who changed forever were introduced to that without knowing what they were about to be introduced to. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
That's what this felt like for me, right? Like it was just like, Jesus, what is going on? And that happened quickly, right? Like very quickly. I was like, oh no, I got to put the phone down. Like there are no calls. Hold my calls.
Mm-hmm.
I said to my nobody, but
the Texas Death Match. Here's what I want to say before we get into the finish and then get into the first match from tonight's Dynamite is Swerve Strickland wins this match Saturday at the pay-per-view, beating Hangman Adam Page. I picked Hangman Adam Page because Hangman Adam Page up until that point had never lost a Texas Death Match. Hangman Adam Page, arguably with Swerve Strickland, had one of the best Texas Death Matches of all time. I just told you before we recorded, up until Revolution, and I still, don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but up until, Full Gear, my match of the year was Texas Death Match, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page, where Hangman hanged Jon Moxley from the top rope over to the bottom of the mat, I guess. And so that's pretty incredible that however you want to rank it, but in the top echelon of Texas Death Matches, Hangman was in 2 of them within 1 calendar year. That's fucking wild. And both guys did absolutely amazing. Swerve did the physicality right from the jump. Staple gun to the chest, a staple gun to the cheek. These were real staple guns because they stayed there the entire match. It wasn't like a blank staple gun that they used. However, I would argue the physicality was a 15 out of 10. 15 out of 10. Now, I don't know if it was planned. I don't know if it was in the moment. But the moment of the entire fucking pay-per-view, in my opinion, was Hangman taking Swerve's head and drinking his blood. And then I think you have it now as one of our shots here. And then spitting that into the air like he's Triple H about to start his own fucking WrestleMania main event. That was fucking mind-boggling that would even be something that I would see. Right? Because we've seen Nick Gage matches. We've seen pizza cutters to the head. So not to say like the physicality wasn't, but it was also nothing that I hadn't seen to that level. Right now, the storytelling made it awesome, but to drink another man's blood, and I know they're probably tested and all of that stuff, is objectively fucking insane. Insane. And so we get Swerve Strickland beating Hangman Adam Page by hanging him, which was a choice, as the kids say, because if you go the other way, you might be making news the wrong way. And so Swerve hangs Hangman. Now, there were shenanigans. And I think, you were talking about, is this the best Texas Death Match? To me, I still, just by this much, put Hangman Moxley over this because Brian Cage. Kind of like how when people talk about Ospreay and Omega, the one in New Japan and the one in AEW, they say they like the New Japan one because of the Don Callis thing. I obviously don't care necessarily for those matches. I like more of this. And that's why the slight little thing of Brian Cage getting involved kind of was like,
it was unnecessary, especially when it led to nothing. It didn't lead to the end. Like,
well, it kind of like
that's
did,
how
you know
Swerve was able to finally get the victory because he received help directly from Brian Cage. Then, like, okay.
I think they kind of tried to say that because Hangman takes out Brian Cage, and then Swerve takes a cinder block.
Yeah.
And if he wouldn't have been looking at Cage, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
and then from there, he never really regained his ability to.
Right,
to
exactly.
But
so,
like, it was a long ways away, right? We kind of forgot. And then it was like, oh, yeah, Brian Cage was in that match. Which, again,
and so.
I just don't know. I mean, like, there's a way you could have Nana's already ringside, right? There's a way he can do something to,
Another just all-time classic moment in this match is Prince Nana got physical. If you haven't seen the match, he also gets beat. But there's a moment right before he gets beat up where he eludes physicality by doing his dance.
Yeah.
He backpedals out of.
Yeah. He's the best.
He's the best. He's the best. And so.
Well, Jeffrey Stills even here, he says, Swerve no-sold the Staples. Was like, or he said, when he no-sold the Staples, I was like, he's in his element. This match was better than the Mox and Hangman. He said, I love the Nana spots in the match. The one where he pulls Swerve out before the 10 count, which was awesome. Yeah. He did also clarify, and we're going to talk more after we, when we get back to Swerve's match on Dynamite, that every one of the wrestlers in this Continental Classic wrestles each one, and the top 2 of those groups go to a finals, and then those winners go to a finals, right? So we get like a fucking semifinals into a finals, basically. But anyway.
Okay, gotcha. Good to know. Yeah, look, again, the Staples were crazy. It got my wife, who was reading a book and heard the noise, look up and go, I swear, she goes, I don't like this. She's never said that before, right? She's been like, well, she goes, I don't like this. They need to stop now. And I'm like, well, they're not.
Look, my wife typically doesn't watch wrestling at all. Doesn't really like it. Not her bag. Doesn't even really want to be around. Like, just like, whatever, I'm going to go somewhere else, right? Like, fine, whatever. Thinks it's kind of dumb, right? So she's just like, whatever, you do your thing. If I were ever to be like, hey, watch a thing with me, I'm glad it wasn't that night, and then just been like, oh, fuck, the Texas Death Match. It's like, because she would have been like, never again. I'm never trusting you again to ever watch a thing ever again. And look, I've said this. I said this to my boss because I told him to watch it. I was like, listen, the hardcore matches like this aren't always my thing. I don't hate them. I'm not like grossed out by them. I'm not like pushed away. It's just not my thing. I don't need it. I don't need all the blood. I'm fine with storytelling otherwise. I like getting an enhanced physicality and this story did call for it, right? So it's fine. But I told him, I was like, but you got to see this. But I was like, I don't think you understand. Like, this is different. Like, I was like, people are calling this the greatest of all time. Like, this is something where, like, it was just mouth hanging open. Starting from that Hangman spot, I was like, oh no. These, like, and I think that was after the Staples even, right? But, like, that was where it was like, I mean, you'd seen Staples, right? Yes, they were doing some intense stapling, but you'd seen that. The blood dripping, him doing the fucking, like it's a tap, like it's a fucking beer on tap, and then spitting it, and just the pride on his face when he did that too. By the way, if you go back and watch, like, he's fucking like kicked back, like he's like, yeah, I did that. Like, just like, I was just like, oh no, tonight's about to get crazy. I was like, I'm never gonna.
Yeah. I think the Staples stick out more to me, and I don't know if, we could review all the past Staple spots in major promotions. Obviously at GCW, it's legit, but I've always thought like it was a blank staple, right? And it was, and he stapled them, but there's nothing in there because it'll make the sound if you don't have the staple, right? Yeah. But seeing it in his chest was the part where I
stapled stuff to him.
The cheek. Yeah. But before that, seeing it in his pec, I was like, oh fuck. Because again, not to do a tit for tat, but let's not forget Jon Moxley took a legitimate fork to the head of Hangman.
Let's talk about the pizza cutter.
And then Nick Gage to Chris Jericho, which, by the way, side note, we'll get back on track. The greatest moment, I said this earlier because Emily was just, I don't know, weird conversation. I said the greatest moment in television is Nick Gage taking a pizza cutter to the head of Chris Jericho and then a Domino's commercial playing at the same time. That's better than the ending of MASH or the finale of Lost or Seinfeld or all that. That's the greatest moment in television. Bar none.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Yeah. That little like side clip. Like next.
That's the best moment. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, look at this fucking pizza cutter. Yeah. It's the best. That's the best moment in television. Okay. Let's get into Swerve Strickland wins the match, right? Mm-hmm. And so let's get into tonight's match. It was the first matchup in the Continental Classic, Jay Lethal versus Swerve Strickland. We did kind of a deep dive on the Texas Death Match. This obviously doesn't live up to that, so I don't know if we need to go move for move.
No, but it was long. Man, this match went for a while. This was the longest one of these matches that they did.
Felt like it. Yeah, definitely felt like it. I didn't time it. But Swerve Strickland, okay.
Yeah, Swerve wins. And like the thing that just felt a little, yes, crowd was behind him, obviously. And I mean, what's he going to do to top what he did, right? So this feels like, hey, it's a match in a tournament, so he's got to do it, right? But
like, it gets him going.
It does get him going, but like, it did just feel like, yeah, okay. So like, yeah, you beat up Jay Lethal. Like, it did feel like, all right, spinning the wheels with Swerve. It was like, it was just like, hey, here he is. Okay, now he's gone again. I don't know. I don't know the best way to describe it, right? So I want a little more now that we've got Swerve so hot. I don't want to lose the steam, right, of the dastardly stuff he did.
So I think the biggest miss is, and they did this later in the night, so I feel like they could have done it with Swerve. The biggest miss of the night is if you're going to kick off the show with Swerve Strickland, you have to have Prince Nana doing the dance, bringing him out. Swerve is the coolest guy in pro wrestling. I will say that every single time, right? But he is cooler when Prince Nana is with him. By the way, the entrance at Full Gear was amazing. The dancers with Prince Nana, and then Swerve just like appears behind him and just walks and no-sells it. I love that he no-sells it. That he doesn't get involve himself makes
doesn't
it
even smile at the guy. He
doesn't even acknowledge it. Just keeps on going, you know. That was the thing I think that was missing tonight. I think the crowd would have popped even hotter to start the show if the first visual we see is Prince Nana doing his thing and then Swerve walking past him. Because you can't have outside interference or no one ringside. I get it. Well, hold on. But what I was going to say is, but then you fast forward to Jay White taking on Roosh, and the Ass Boys are with him, and then they get kicked out. I feel like you could have done the same thing with Prince Nana. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was a miss. That was the one miss I would say with the opening of this.
Swerve goes on his evil run. Nana's his manager, right? But then like we get a Swerve face turn eventually because you know everything has its course, and it's because Nana's convincing him to loosen up. And you know what I mean? And do the Nana, and he's finally, as we're all about ready to cheer him, he finally one day after his hard-fought victory of doing it the right way, does the fucking Nana, and everybody fucking goes crazy. Everybody goes fucking crazy.
Well, you take that one step further. You have Swerve finally, all right, Nana, you know what? Here it goes. And you just get him one shoulder to the other shoulder, Gates of Agony, jump him. Prince Nana was like, that's the dumbest dance of all time. And Swerve's laid out, and he's like, what was that guy
You're pulling
thinking?
the Austin in a suit thing, right? So he's like, all right, and then he's like, fucking.
Yeah. And Prince Nana was like, who would ever do that dance? Why would anyone do, like, just like that fucking thing? That's the dumbest thing in the world. It's like when Chris Jericho one time on commentary was talking about MJF as he was walking to the ring, and MJF, he wears a scarf. And if you recall in WWE, and he's like, who would ever wear a scarf walking to the ring? Yeah. Like, do it like that. You know what I mean? Like, the fuck is that? And So Swerve Strickland gets the victory. And then we go backstage, and Renee is with Hook, Orange Cassidy, and Shibata. And Orange says he has an announcement. But before he even gets to say it, Yuta walks in, and he's talking some shit. And he calls Hook a young boy and tells Shibata he wants his Pure Championship back. So let's take a step back. At Full Gear, one of the matches I incorrectly picked, I believe, was the matchup between Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley.
We both incorrectly predicted that one.
So I guess if you didn't know, obviously if you're watching this podcast or listening, you probably know the outcome here. But Orange Cassidy picks up the victory over Jon Moxley and kind of wore him around like a hat. Like it wasn't necessarily, I mean, obviously there was a back and forth, but it wasn't like this, Jon Moxley has it done here. It was kind of Orange Cassidy one-way traffic. What did you think about that? And what do you think about Orange Cassidy still your Intercontinental champion?
International champion.
International. Yes.
Same thing.
Inter something. Interstellar.
Yeah. Potato Passato. All right. So, interesting move with, like you said, decisively an Orange Cassidy clean victory, right? Like, didn't have to pull one out of his ass, right? Didn't get a lucky punch in. I mean, I know he wins with a punch, but you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a, like, I was better than you tonight in a wrestling match win. And that was unique for Moxley, right? Interesting. Yeah, man, him still being the international champion, it's fine is the best way I can say it. I don't know what else to do anymore. And I kind of felt like, who now, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not feeling it as much as I was when it was a thing, right? Like, I feel like we're trying to look in the rearview mirror now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think, Jon Moxley is obviously one of the biggest stars in AEW, the backbone of the company for sure. If you were to take a peek behind the curtain. So
I always take a leak behind the curtain.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I always take a leak
Fucking
wherever you can get it.
Far away, man.
Don't want to walk. But so if he conquers Jon Moxley, I mean, there's only 2 or 3 people that could take the title off of him and make it mean just as much, right? It's like a Danielson, MJF, and who else, right? Like, those are the top guys. Oh, Kenny Omega, right? Like, those 3 would be the 3 that would take it off. That would mean maybe a little bit more than Moxley. So that he went through that. I just don't know. Yeah, where do you pivot to? Where's the next person?
Jeffrey Sills says, I feel like they should have made him lose again and make Mox his measuring stick throughout his career. And that works if you have a plan to, like, ultimately put Orange Cassidy over, right? He finally beats Mox for a big prize, right?
I'll tell you my thought on Moxley when we get to the main event in regards to this Continental Classic. I already have an idea. I think other people do too, so I'm not like gonna drop you on the ground.
You got the inside scoop. Right?
No, but I got an idea that I think will work. So we'll see. All right, so Yuta talks some shit. He leaves, and then Orange Cassidy's like, "Hey, but I still have an announcement." And Renee's like, "Well, we're out of time." Just moves on.
I know
that was funny. Yeah, we're out of time.
Interesting one, yeah. Yeah, it felt like she was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, it kind of felt like she thought like your announcements are never really an announcement, so like let's just move it on. You know what I mean?
I got to work on the next interview. I got an extra spot tonight later that I got to do that I didn't plan for.
So next up, we get MJF and his music hits, but it's not just his music; it's the blend with Adam Cole, baby.
Baby,
they're walking out here on crutches again. Slight miss. If I had the pin, right? You come out on scooters. You come riding out on scooters together, where they're like the BFFs. Like, almost. I don't know if this exists, but if you could get a tandem scooter where they're both on the same one, that would have been perfect. I don't know if that exists or not, but like, have them go down.
If it doesn't exist, it feels like if you started early enough in the day and paid somebody enough money and brought them 2 of them, they could fabricate you one that, like, a tandem.
Yeah, but that's what I thought they should have done. Now, I get the visual, right? It's them limping to the, okay, whatever. But still, I thought that would have been more fun. But it didn't happen that way. They walk down, they do their boom, they have their fun. And MJF puts over Switchblade, was one of the best, but he lost to a guy with one leg.
They could have at least had somebody, like, they could have been both being pushed out in wheelchairs by, like, nurses or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, or in the wheelchairs, they race down to the bottom. Now, that could actually hurt.
Double wheelchair, right? Like, there's like a like a side-by-side wheelchair. Something. Don't they make those?
Yeah. So MJF talks about the main event at Full Gear, which some people are thinking was overbooked. I would say it wasn't, because we got the thing that they said. It was just fun to get there, right? Because sometimes it's boring just to say the main event and we never see or develop anything. It's just the main event.
Say overbooked. Right? What do you mean? Like,
so
the delivery was the payoff wasn't a big delivery? Or?
Well, so at Full Gear, we kicked off we end the 0 hour with MJF and Samoa Joe defeating the Guns. So now that means Samoa Joe gets his title shot, right? MJF then gets injured by the Guns. And he goes to the hospital and says, Cole, don't let him take my title. Then I guess because fuck it, we have to have a new champion, I guess. The board of directors or whatever says, Jay White, you're the new champ. And then Cole comes out and he goes, nope, I'm wrestling for MJF. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they say, sure. Then we get to the main event. Adam Cole, as clear as some good cocaine, walks out there with his ugly ass beard. Shave the fucking beard, Cole. If you're not going to tan, don't look even worse. Anyhow, side note. And Cole's like, all right, Jay White, we're going to fucking fight. We're going to wrestle. I literally have a cast on my foot, but I guess AEW's cool with it. MJF then comes
clear him. That one was bothering me.
Yeah.
One, all right. So we're talking about the story, right? But like, that one bothered me. Like, well, hold on. Like,
this is where
all right, we'll talk about it later as we go on, but keep going.
Well, I was going to say, that's the part where people are thinking this is overbooked because then the ambulance comes and MJF is riding, driving the ambulance, gets out. He's hobbled. People are stopping him, but no one stopped Cole.
Adam Cole, who's in a cast.
Yeah. And he hobbles. And then throughout the match, which was pretty incredible, MJF beats Jay White and retains his championship.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily disagree that it wasn't overbooked, but anyway, where I don't even know where we were at this point.
Well, so MJF says, Switchblade, you're one of the best, but you lost to a guy with one leg, right? Then he says he's the greatest champion of all time. And then he says, no one's on the level of the devil, and the devil, whoever stole my mask, I'm going to kick your ass, paraphrasing. And then you see the devil. And he laughs, or she laughs. And then that's it. And then Cole says, hey, we got story time. And he's talking about he's got to leave. He wishes he was here every week. Wink, wink, wink. But he's got to go. Samoa Joe then walks out and is like, hey, friend, how you doing, MJF? You're such a friend of mine. You're going to own up to this agreement we made, right? And MJF says, blow me, which was censored. And then Adam Cole says, hey, man, you got to own up to your word. The old MJF said he wouldn't do it, but you've got to be the bigger man and do it right. And so then MJF is like, all right, fuck, I guess. Let's do it tonight. And then Samoa Joe's like, no. I'm not taking excuses, which again feels like you're a heel. Wouldn't you? Anyhow, he goes, at World's End, me and you, I want you healthy, so you have no excuses. And then MJF says, in Long Island? Sure. And I like that because then the crowd's like, fuck Long Island. He's like, I love deep dish. Okay. Suck it.
Calm down.
Yeah. Calm down. Yeah. And so then they agree that they're going to have their main event match, Samoa Joe, your challenger, taking on MJF, the champion. And Adam Cole's like, you did the right thing, MJF. Good job. So let's talk about all this.
Yeah.
So MJF is your champion.
He is.
He agreed to have Samoa Joe as his partner so that then Samoa Joe gets the title shot.
He did. Mm-hmm.
He says, I don't want to fucking face Joe.
Yeah, who would?
Cole says, you got to. You said you would. Be a man of your word. So then MJF begrudgingly says yes.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Then Joe says, I want you at your healthiest because I guess that means more as a heel, whatever. So I'm going to watch your back up until World's End.
It is heel hubris, though, to be like, I want to show everybody I was even better than you at your best, right? So I can buy into that to some extent, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess with
you're not
Joe,
always a smart heel, right? Like sometimes you're.
Well, and I guess with Joe, his heel-ness is not cutting corners; it's brutality, right?
Yeah.
Like
right now, I feel like he's playing with his food, right? He knows, like, I'm going to beat your ass whenever it is, even at your healthiest. So fucking fine, get healthy, and then. Well,
so here's the, I don't know if you want to call it a plot hole or not, because again, Joe is credible as they come, right? Like you say, you're going to fight Joe, no one's going to be like fucking easy work, right? However, 3 weeks ago, I don't even know, Grand Slam, beat him clean. MJF beat him clean. Wasn't even like shenanigans, just straight up. Oh, no, I think he used the tape but like choked him, which is not a big deal.
I mean, that's fine in an AEW match. I do like the promos are great, right? We do know that, right? And like he's like, awesome. You're my property, so like don't worry about the devil now.
Yeah.
Interesting moves with the devil though, right? So the devil laughs, it cuts out, it almost immediately went to Joe's music, didn't it? Well, didn't the like devil laugh?
Mm-hmm.
Then it was like Joe walking out. I mean, like, and so, but it was like, well, wait a minute, Joe's not the devil. Like, there's still more to come, and I'm glad we're still there. I am just, it does feel weird. Everything's falling apart. And I do think you're right. I think the easy answer here is Adam Cole is the devil. He's trying to, puppeteer everything from behind the scenes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
We do have a tweet the table. Mr. Fourth Row, he says, 2 one-legged men equals 1 full man, right? Just insert some gear, sprockets, whatever it takes. Hashtag tweet the table.
Yeah, there you go. Because apparently, if you believe the backstage reports or whatever, when MJF did the big elbow on the broken table, when he landed, hurt his hip, separated his hip, which, goddamn, if that's true and he kept going, what a fucking admirable thing to do that you probably shouldn't have.
Radiating pain from your groinal region is never fun, wherever it happens.
Well, and with your hip, it goes around to your ass, down your hamstring, it's the whole, your quad.
Yeah. It's everything.
It's the whole fucking thing.
Can't move. You can't move without it.
Tim, I think I'm going to do this each time we see the devil, just for fun check-ins. But day before Thanksgiving, November 22nd, 2023, at 10:51 Arrowhead time, who do you think is the devil?
I think Adam Cole now. I didn't think Adam Cole before because I thought they want us to think it's Adam Cole, right? Mm-hmm. But you said it then, and you said it again about earlier. You're like, sometimes the easy answer is the answer. That's why it's the easy answer. And like, that's a fine story they're telling. Like, that you saw it beforehand just makes you a little more astute, doesn't make the story bad. I kind of think it's Adam Cole right now. Or my dark horse is it's still MJF.
Ooh, okay. Let's do that. We'll do that each time. We'll do who it is and then dark horse, because that always gives you like I also thought, right? I think I'm changing my pick, Tim. Changing it.
You roped me into this, didn't you, the whole time?
Yeah.
You're like, this
but I'm changing it.
Yeah, Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah, Adam Cole. Yeah.
Well, I do, but now I don't. And here's why. That fucking person was slender as fuck. And I know Adam Cole is slender, but he didn't look like this person had
tall,
the
slender.
neck.
They look tall, slender. Yeah.
Yeah, this person had a thin neck. You know what I mean? I think now. Here's the story. I'll tell you who it is, and this is what the story is.
Right after this break. Right.
Yeah, no. I think it's Jack Perry. I think it's Jack Perry because if you go back to the 4 Pillars match and the promo that they touched on that Darby caught Jack Perry and MJF having, where MJF said, you could have all of this if you just give in to the devil. Like, he didn't say the devil, but like give in to being a devil, essentially. And I think that is going to bite MJF in the ass, where he said, hey, I'm the devil. Thanks to you. Like
you said, yeah.
Yeah. Like when you said it and I lost at the 4 Pillars match and then I lost to Hook, I realized in a street fight, I lost to Hook. I realized I had to do what you said. So thank you. And then MJF is like, what the fuck did I create? Like, what did I say that honestly, now created this?
Not for nothing. I'm not like saying I like Jack Perry as like he's my guy or anything here, but like out of all the, if it's not Cole, because that's the easy answer and they want you to think that's the easy answer. And so we're going to go another way and it's not MJF, right? Manipulating Cole. Then out of all the like wild cards, then essentially Jack Perry's probably the best idea. He's the one that fits kind of loosely into the story and needs something to do upon his return that would skyrocket him.
And peeking behind the curtain, he needs something top level because as we know, him and CM Punk got into a fight, and CM Punk is gone. What if Jack Perry were to come back next, at the first show in January, Jack Perry returns to action, we would be booing him or cheering him, CM Punk's. So we need to distract from all of that shit. So if you throw him in the devil storyline, which is the biggest thing in AEW right now, it takes that heat away from him a little bit.
So Jeffrey Sill says it better not be Jack Perry. Jack Perry would be very underwhelming. And you two can chime in and give your opinions if you watch us on the live YouTube chat.
Hold on.
It might, well, I think I want to answer this. It might seem underwhelming, but it's all in the story. If he does something dastardly, does the reveal, and then we have him doing something prominent and evil moving forward, right? If he's able to then get a title shot, maintain some sort of power control that nobody can fucking quite underwhelm because he now has a gang of little mini devils working for him or something, right? Will he be the best actor to pull this off? Maybe not. But we don't know. But I think it could be very overwhelming or just whelming, right? But the underwhelming thing, I mean, I see what you're saying in that, like, him, if you told me, like, it's Adam Cole or it's, Wardlow, or, well, I mean, Wardlow would be underwhelming too, but you get the idea. I think there could be money there with the Jack Perry being the devil.
Not to bring up CM Punk, but one of the most underwhelming moments to me as a wrestling fan was when Punk turned heel and clotheslined The Rock and then went on his I'm now a heel champion with Paul Heyman. And arguably, that's the best run of his career, right? When he was the heel with Heyman doing all the shit, right? Now, I'm not saying that Jack Perry will do the same thing and have the same success. What I'm saying, though, is in the moment, it might be, and then in 3 months, you go, holy shit, isn't this Jack Perry cool as fuck? Or he's evil as shit. Because look, when we first saw the first time, another underwhelming moment, the first time Adam Cole and MJF said, shut up, Shivani. Essentially, that was just like fun. And now look what it is, right? Like now it's the best friendship in the history of pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to say, but it's an awesome story, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it's just Jack Perry, but let's also have the story play out because it could be, the what was that? All Out. Who was the fucking guy? Was Stokely Hathaway and The Firm?
Yeah,
right?
The Firm. Yeah.
It could be The Firm. I'm not saying it could. It could be The Firm, or it could be Adam Cole MJF friendship, right? Like they've done both things. So I'm optimistic.
Yeah,
you know
he says, Jeffrey still says, I agree, but do you trust them to pull it off with him? And that one's a little, if MJF is running the story, maybe. But,
yes, that's why. Look, go back to the Punk MJF story, which I think is a top 5 story of all time. It was on my top 5 list. That's an MJF story. Punk is just using his name. He doesn't do shit, right? He just says, will you be my Valentine? Here's a dog collar match. He doesn't do anything. Well, he does that believable, like, are you really talking about me? Which was fun, but that was all MJF. So if we use Jack Perry in the Punk role, but still making this about MJF, of course, MJF can make anything work, I think.
To wrap up, we've been talking about this, though. The main event match of Full Gear, MJF defeats Jay White. He's holding the title up. I was a little underwhelmed. We didn't even see the devil then.
I wanted up on the screen. Yeah, and then it's in. Yeah, I wanted that. I wanted that moment, but we didn't get it. That was the only thing that I thought was, again, another slight miss, but not like something that I'm gonna turn the channel on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep it moving. We will find out how this plays out. Another underwhelming thing, though, is we never see the devil again, which kind of wish we did. But anyhow, next up, we get 6-man matches, and it's Hook, Orange Cassidy, and Shibata versus Hager, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. But wait, we have a surprise. It's Danhausen. Danhausen's back. Danhausen's back.
Very evil.
And this is fun. I think the moment of the match is Danhausen having Jake Hager's hat.
Love it.
And then cursing him. I think he cursed him. I think he cursed his dick because Jake Hager grabbed his dick for whatever reason. Did you catch that? He went, oh, and Jake Hager would like act like he got a low blow. So that was weird. But it happened.
I think this might be a keen way to get Jake Hager away from those guys. We're going to see how Anna Jay's getting herself away from these guys. She's talking about tired of losing and then all of that earlier, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But this is the example I was talking about of the little minute storytelling where you can keep a group together for a while, but you've got to show real world dynamics in these groups and things, right? Like they're ripping apart the seams here, right? Because of random things. One guy's got a girlfriend that the other guy doesn't like, right? They want one guy not to dance, even though like there's all these little things over time where people weave in and out of these other storylines helps those longevity things. And they've done that well with things like Jericho Appreciation Society, and even they're filtering out, right? They're telling the slow destruction of that group, right? They kind of, you know what I mean? They kind of went like the whole Rage Against the Machine thing. And they're like, no, we're just going to replace the lead singer with a different guy and call it something different now. You know, and then they're like, this ain't working. We'll all just fucking break apart. Like, yeah.
But then we'll get back together later. So
yeah, right. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So, I think that, and hopefully it works, right? We'll get a little comedy bit of Danhausen with the hat and Jake Hager, and he's gone, and it will get 2.0 to get a run out of this on their own.
We'll see. It was, again, it served its part. Orange Cassidy gets the victory. Shibata's in there. That was fun. Hook obviously gets more ring time, so that helps him in like real world experience. So good. All right, let's go backstage. Renee is with Adam Cole, and she wants to wish him a speedy recovery. He says, I can't wait to start physical therapy because he's going to be back in no time. And he's so proud of MJF accepting that match. And here comes Adam!
Adam!
And the Kingdom. And he's like, hey, dude, so cool of you on Saturday to help out MJF. But Friday, I got dropped on my fucking head. Where were you? And Cole says, shut up. I don't know why you think I'm your best friend anymore. It's bullshit. Just get away from me. And then hobbles his way off. What do you make of this?
In beautiful fashion, in such short time, they have taken the man who charisma forgot, Roddy Strong, and given me a thing that I just randomly chant around the house in my brain. I smile when I see him, and now I have felt sympathy for this guy because that was rude from Adam Cole. He snapped on him and embarrassed him in front of his friends. It was rude.
And Roderick Strong had a point, right? I got I don't know if you saw the spot, but he legitimately got dropped on his head to where they stopped the match for a moment. Where were you? Right? Like, obviously that was real world, but like, where were you? Could have been backstage, you know. So why did you now snap at him, right? Like, now is the moment when he actually really needed you, not when you were asking it, or he's asking you to mow the yard or whatever the fuck those things were. Like, this is a real thing. Like, and now is the time. Now again, wink, 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 wink. Here you go. Look at this. Wink, 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 wink. If you're watching the YouTube stream, wink, 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 wink. Is this the swerve to say, well, Adam Cole and the Kingdom and, you know, Roderick Strong wouldn't work together. They hate each other right now. Yeah.
Or do they? Yeah.
Here's the thing that, again, they could make it pay off and make it make sense. But in today, watching the storyline, the thing that still doesn't make sense is if Adam Cole is doing all of these things to fuck with MJF and Joe were to be the one that beats him at World's End, why the fuck would Adam Cole ever help Samoa Joe? That's the part that doesn't make sense. Now, again, they could make it make sense.
New main event mafia, baby. Joe, I mean, maybe. Adam Cole.
Something.
Roddy Strong, I guess.
And the Kingdom. Yeah, there's your tag.
Or maybe
team.
They're not there. Maybe he thinks he's in it and he's like, gets kicked in the face by Adam Cole. He's like, get the fuck out of here. It's kicked in the neck. It's like a 2-man power trip. He gets kicked in the neck. And then we go on with the neck strong longer because he got super kicked in the neck just when he was almost healed. I was right on the cusp. I was right there. And then Adam kicked me in the neck.
And now he can't say it.
Yeah.
He can't say it.
Yeah, I can't say yeah, it's all silent. Yes. God damn it. God damn it. Oh.
So now let's get into
Kyle O'Reilly. Jeffrey Sills says he just wrote Kyle O'Reilly. And what are you at? Are you saying it's Kyle O'Reilly's the devil? That would be underwhelming.
That would suck the worst. Now, again, we're just talking about how Roderick Strong,
friend of the show,
fucking
Kyle
horrible. Yeah, but he fucking shit on us, so fuck him. Yeah, Roderick Strong has no personality.
He didn't shit on us. He just needed to make sure we weren't slow.
Yeah, but shut up. Get over it. We're wrestling fans. You know this shit.
I don't know what his final assessment was of that either.
Yeah, fuck him. Here's the thing with here's the difference between, I think, Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. Roderick Strong, for his entire career, was essentially like we said, the man that charisma forgot. However, he would say, well, then I'm gonna make you fucking watch these matches, because he would always have a really good match, right? Stellar matches, nothing else. Kyle O'Reilly thinks he's fucking cool because he does air guitar on a title in NXT, gets the opportunity to be like, okay, let's see what happens, and looks like the fucking reject from Blink 182 and can't fucking do dick. So like, that may be worse, because he might go like, I'm going to kill it, guys. This is going to be the best thing in the world. And you're talking about underwhelming. He's going to play a fucking guitar on Adam Cole's head, and everyone's going to be like, okay, cut a promo. And he's going to fucking piss on himself and, I don't know, sing an emo song because he's a fucking weirdo, and do like kicks and, I got a cool fight stance because one time I competed in a tournament against amateurs. I'd beat the fuck out of Kyle O'Reilly. Anyhow.
Jeffrey Sills clarified. He said he just wrote him because he thought he would be in that group with Cole and Strong. So yeah, they would do the essentially the Undisputed Era again over there. Just be the fucking whatever, right?
What if it was Bobby Fish? Where's the lie? Oh, that would be hilarious. Where's the lie? Why did you say that twice? Yeah. Oh, that would be the best. That would be the best. All right. Let's get into what I said was, again, the best segment of Dynamite. Christian Cage is walking out.
Oh my
now,
God.
We go back to Full Gear. We have a 6-man tag, Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland versus, what are they calling themselves? The Patriarchy, I think, is what their team name is. I saw it on the...
So fucking great. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. I saw it on the thing, and I heard
because he's the father figure for everybody with a dead dad. He's the patriarch. He's so fucking great.
Who's the British guy on Collision? The heel that I think is awesome.
Are you talking about commentator or what?
The ROH, former ROH champion, Nigel McGuinness. Yeah, I think I heard him say it a couple times too. So I think this is going to be the patriarchy, right? So they lose to Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland.
Didn't love that. Now, but, I mean, it's Sting's retirement tour. He's not going to lose again. Yeah. Oh, maybe
Darby Allin. Right, and then Darby Allin's like, give some fucking credit to Sting. I thought that was interesting because it's like Sting's like the most wholesome guy. I don't know if you'd even like for you to cuss, but anyhow. Side note, I watched their post-match interview. Edge, Adam Copeland, whatever you want to call him, was as happy as I've ever seen him. And he even says, he goes, I feel like a 12-year-old boy. I'm teaming with Sting. There's Ric Flair. I've never been in this building. Yeah. I love the Forum. He's like hitting the walls. He's like, and I'm with one of the craziest guys, Darby Allin. He's like, this is amazing. But then Darby Allin said, I got to get on a red eye. I'm going to go clown Mount Everest. And apparently he's off TV for the next month. He's going to go climb Mount
Everest. Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
So he's going to die on a mountain.
Yep.
Why?
Because some people are weird and they want to die on a mountain. But that honestly is great that Darby Allin, not that he could go die on a mountain, but that was rude. All right. Is that he can be gone. Because we're going to get the Sting retirement tour. He can be gone, right? And Sting can go do the retirement tour without having Darby there in tow
week to week.
because week to week, right? Now, can he be involved? Could he be the foil of the final thing? Great, cool. Even better if it's coming out of nowhere when we forgot about him, right? When he did not die on the side of a mountain. Fingers crossed, right? Knock on fake wood, all right?
Yeah.
So, yes, and fine, right? I knew that was going to happen. Now, it does look like, again, Darby's going to go away. Adam Copeland is going to focus in on Christian Cage, and Sting gets to go have the Sting retirement tour with Ric Flair hanging around for some odd reason. And,
that's
we'll
going to pay
where
off.
this goes. Yeah, that's going to pay off.
That's going to pay off.
Interesting. And yeah, man, into Dynamite where Christian Cage comes out. Oh my God.
So Christian Cage says, hey,
my God.
I'm a champion. I'm a champion. I'm, gracious in
great.
victory, humble in defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, though, I didn't lose that match. Nick Wayne didn't lose this match.
Right.
Luchasaurus lost this match. Luchasaurus, take a knee. I found it interesting. Like taking a knee, I don't know. It's not the most disrespectful thing. So I found it weird that it would be such a thing.
Say bow down. Right?
Get on your knees. But even Taz says, he's like, a coach will tell you to take a knee all the time. Like, it was like, well, yeah, kind of. Anyhow, but that's just splitting hairs. So take a knee, and he doesn't necessarily want to. So he's, and he takes a knee. And Christian Cage says, the name Luchasaurus is a loser name. That is not going to be your name anymore. You are going to be a finisher.
You are my finisher.
You are my finisher. You will be called Kill Switch. Now, Tim, I teased this to you earlier before we recorded. This is when I almost called you. I swear to God, before he said Kill Switch, I thought he was going to say his real name.
Yeah, I know.
Thought we were going to get, I'm a dinosaur.
Oh, we still can, though. Oh, we still can because, so he can be Kill Switch. They can change a mask. It's not a dinosaur mask that there may or may not be in a lawsuit about. So then he becomes Kill Switch. It's not Luchasaurus. But then without him having to show his face, still behind a mask, if he doesn't want his face out, then it can be like, you're not a Kill Switch. I don't even know what that is. You're a dinosaur. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not a dinosaur. I'm Kill Switch. And they're like, no, you're not. I'm a dinosaur.
No.
I'm a dinosaur.
No, not that. No. Almost. This is what you do. You have Christian Cage say that, right? You're not you're not a finisher. You're not Kill Switch. I don't even know what you are anymore. You're just, and I don't know what his name is. Let's just say it's Seth.
Austin.
You're
It's
Seth.
Austin.
Oh, you're Austin Creed, right? That's someone.
Yeah, but it's Austin something. I know that.
Yeah,
maybe.
But
it's Austin something.
Let's say his name's Austin Creed. Your name is Austin Creed. And then that's when, Tim, he says, I'm not Austin Creed. I'm a dinosaur. And then it's fucking yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. You're not Kill Switch. You're a man. You're just a shitty, tall, loser man. Your name is Austin.
Austin.
It's fucking Austin. Everybody knows that you're on a shitty Big Brother show that nobody watched. You're Austin. You are a human being. He's like,
you're loser human being.
You're a loser. Nothing but a fan in the crowd. That's who you are. What are you? Nothing but a normal man. Right? And he'll be like,
smacks him in the face. He's just paintbrushing him. Yeah. Paintbrushing him. And then that's when I'm a dinosaur. And then you have him choke slam him, right? Choke slam him. Now, I don't know how this would logistically work, but this is what you do. You have him choke slam him. And like you said, he's in a different mask. He's in a gladiator mask, right? Whatever. And then he pulls out the old green Luchasaurus mask, dips into the corner, puts it on. I'm a dinosaur. And we all fucking chant it. Oh my God.
The caveat is
run through a fucking wall, man.
The caveat is maybe you can't legally use the dinosaur mask.
Fuck
anymore.
that person. Yeah, fuck that person. It's the coolest. That would be the coolest thing.
But back to this. All right, so that's the minor part of what goes on here. Oh
God, I thought that was the thing. That was going to be the greatest thing ever. Okay, so he says because he is. He's like, I'm rechristening you, for lack of a better term. So then he says, Luchasaurus, you're not Luchasaurus, you're Kill Switch. Then he looks to Nick Wayne, and Nick Wayne just goes, oh, on one knee, okay, yep, all right. And he's like, no. You did not do that.
Yeah. You're a
so
winner.
He does, not you.
Yeah.
You're a winner. You are me. I see, everything
I was
going to
name him Nick Cage for a second.
But then he goes, you are going to be known now as the prodigy, Nick Wayne, which if you're an MMA fan, that's BJ Penn, but whatever. You're the prodigy,
John Cena?
Nick Wayne.
Oh, he was the prototype. That's what he was.
Yeah,
he was
there you
the
go.
Prototype. That's right.
And so he goes, you're the prodigy. And as he's saying this, you see a woman running from the back down to the ring. It's Nick Wayne's mom.
He's like, what is your mom doing here?
He's like, what the fuck is your mom doing here? And he lays into her, right? He says, man, could have been better if you were a better mom. Instead, you make $40,000 a year. You're a waitress. Why don't you go back to Denny's, because that's where you belong, right?
Your shift starts tonight at Denny's.
Yeah. Nick Wayne, to his credit, is grinning the entire time, like playing into the heel thing, which is good because you don't want him conflicted right now, right? Because if he's conflicted, then it doesn't make it. But like he's like, yeah, mom, you fucking suck, right?
He's and the golden boy.
Into like, yeah. And then Christian Cage goes into the like, I'm a better dad. Your husband died. He's a loser, right? All that stuff. And as he's saying this, cutting her down, I think that's when he's like, go to your shift. Luchasaurus, Kill Switch, whatever we're calling him, enters in and stops and is like, hey, fucking cut the shit.
Yeah, quit being a bitch. Yeah.
Here's a little bit of something I think they needed to do just a touch better. Christian Cage then looks at Luchasaurus. I'm gonna just keep calling him Luchasaurus until they say otherwise. And he goes, don't make me take your mask off and show everyone why you wear that, because you're so hideous. Now, maybe that's the thing that switched, but it wasn't necessarily like explicitly told to us, because he smacks him. Luchasaurus goes into Nick Wayne's mom. Yeah, but it goes into Nick Wayne's mom. Nick Wayne's mom falls down. And this is where it's like, and then all of a sudden, Luchasaurus is fine with a potential chair shot to this lady's head. Don't tell her to go to Denny's.
Yeah, he didn't look further conflicted. It's one thing if he knows, like, I can't fucking, he's going to make me show my face. Which, again, it's weird because if you thought you could physically stop Christian from doing something wrong, how do you think Christian's going to make you show your face to the world? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Now, maybe he thinks it's a 2-on-1.
I have pictures. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, where I thought they could have, that's where I thought a better thing could have been is when he goes, don't make me show you, or, show this crowd your face. Well, but then Nick Wayne kind of stands next to Christian Cage and Luchasaurus does it's 2-on-1.
Or just start to do it, like start grabbing on his mask and corner him. Yeah. Like, okay, all right, yeah. Fine,
that would be good.
Right, yeah.
Well, because then that's actually a great idea. Because then he could be in the corner, like fastening it twice and stuff, and not even paying attention. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not even paying attention, because Christian Cage then tells Nick Wayne, hey, go get some chairs, homie. We're going to fuck your mom up. Okay. He does it. He's all happy about it too. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And then classic pro wrestling, got to hit the music first. Adam Copeland's music hits, and that's not his fault. That's just a classic pro wrestling thing. Yeah. His music hits. Adam Copeland doesn't do a Jeff Hardy and dances. He actually runs down. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. He spears.
Like the smoke comes, he's over here, he's over here.
But so he takes out Luchasaurus. He takes out Nick Wayne. Luchasaurus gets out of the ring. Christian runs out as soon as Adam comes out. And this is Tim. Here's a little detail. I got a prediction. Then Adam Copeland says, well, I got Nick Wayne here, and here's 2 chairs. This little fucker's been a pain in my ass since I've been here day one. We're going to take his ass out and send a message to Christian. So then he puts the chair underneath his head. Then he grabs the chair, and the mother is in the corner, not doing anything to stop it, which, okay, but she looks like she's in high
she's weary.
Stress.
Yeah.
And waboom, we get the chair shot to the head. Now, Tim, I responded to Jonathan Stone because he was like, isn't that weird that something like Nick Wayne, like Luchasaurus wouldn't stop the mother from getting hit, and then the mother wouldn't stop her own son getting hit, right? I think
it's a professional wrestler that was about to hit her son. She didn't go stop it.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I think she joins the patriarchy.
Oh, she 100% does. She 100% does, and it's because she was down pissed at like Edge, right? So she's gonna be on Edge's side. She's gonna be like, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna get your boy back for you, and then at the right moment, it's gonna be the Kansas City cunt punt.
Well, and there's been some sexual tension as he keeps saying that it could have been different. You could have answered.
She's gonna make out with Christian right in the middle of the ring over Edge's lifeless body, and it's gonna be
it's gonna be
best
awesome.
television. It's gonna be so good. And Nick Wayne's gonna be watching it, like he's gonna be like,
"Yeah, my mom's in the fold." Yeah, because the way I would do it is if you go back to that 6-man, one of the things that we didn't get a payoff on was Adam Copeland and Christian Cage wrestling. They never touched.
Right.
So I would keep doing this Christian runs as soon as Adam comes out. I would get to the point before World's End, right? The week before, 2 weeks before, because you got to have a payoff of why she did it. But you get them finally face to face. Adam grabs his head. He rears back. And then she's behind and
ovarian delight.
And then concerto to Edge. And then that's when he stands, like he has to stand over him. Like,
oh yeah,
legit, not
like
behind,
over
him.
Yeah, and they got a tongue like just sloppy,
and
right?
Then,
just
yeah. And I would have Nick Wayne, Chris Jericho style, when he returned and like kept on like he was a heel, but he was like, "Come on, everyone!"
Yeah, just
I
like oh.
Try to high five the
cheese
fans,
smile, yeah, pointing,
and then like running
doing
around
the like
the ring.
thumbs back at what's going on back there.
High fiving. Oh, if you could put
he's got to give the like Scott Hall over the head arm point,
Well, yeah, and then if you could have a plant in the crowd, I would have him run and take someone's phone and then start doing selfies with that fan's phone, with like the three of them. You're like, that's so
with Christian making out with his mom in the back.
And then he just tosses the phone back there.
This is what we were saying, though, with pro wrestling. Like, this is where they missed the boat sometimes, where it became, People's Champ versus the Authority everywhere you went in every pro wrestling organization. And we lost our way of, like, this is the soap opera stuff, right? The, like, backstabbing, the who's with who. It's like, in no way in real life should any story involve the kid mom making out with Christian, and it's great.
Love it.
I hope we get this. I
do too. All right, let's keep it moving here. We get next up, Matt Menard is pissed off, and they're backstage, and Anna Jay's like, "Hey, this is about me. Fucking cut the shit. Support me." And as soon as she's like, "We're all in this together, right?" Parker gets a phone call, and it's Ruby Soho. And she's like, "Are you fucking serious?" And he's like, What? No.
Yeah,
and then she walks off.
I got it.
Yeah, and then he's like, "But the phone's still ringing." And I guess answers it and then walks off. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, let's keep it moving because let's get here pretty quick here. The second match in the Continental Classic, is Roosh. I got the hiccups here. Versus Switchblade Jay White. And Jay White lost the main event at Full Gear, so he wins here. Low blow. How you doing? Tell your dad I said hello. And he moves on. He advances. Fine. Then let's get into what I thought was the second best segment of the night. Not interesting, but best. After the match, Jay White wins, and then we go to commercial. We come back, and RJ City and Renee are up on the top of the stage. And they said they're here to present the Women's Championship. And they present it like it's an award. And they say, and the AEW Women's World Champion goes to Timeless Toni Storm. And she's in the crowd. Goes to black and white. She's shocked. Goes up the ramp. Loses a shoe. So now she's barefoot. And goes up. Thanks, Renee and RJ City. Mariah May comes out with the title. She grabs it. She says, "Oh, I didn't have anything prepared." puts on glasses, grabs a speech that was written. The crowd is chanting speech. And then she goes, I want to first thank Mr. Anthony Khan. And then she goes, I also want to thank someone, Warner, like whoever owned Warner.
Yeah.
Jack Warner, I think it was, who I think probably died in the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, this is what I wrote this down. She goes, this is her spot. You will never take it or make it. So stay in school, maybe get a trade. Like, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And then she said, cue the standing ovation. That's another great touch.
Yeah.
And awesome.
Yeah. And she defeated Sheeta at Full Gear for this title. Katie First Lady, she chimed in on Tweet the Table. She says, I don't like that Sheeta has had another short title reign, but Toni Storm has been killing it with this character, and it makes sense with whatever is going to happen with her and Mariah May going forward. Hashtag Tweet the Table. And yes, the one caveat I would change here, the one thing is when she's announced as the winner, like, she's not shocked. She's of course. You know what I mean? Like, here's another one. Like, oh, thank you. You know what I mean? Like,
that would
my adoring fans, right? Like, she knew what's up. Of course she's winning this, right?
The thing that I got the most upset about is that's the same section we would have been in if they would have done this in Independence. And I was like, fuck, man, that would have, I would have been sitting next to her, you know, anyhow.
Yeah.
That was just
but this was all done great, though. Like, we said that, like, she should have an acceptance speech for this, and it was done perfectly. Good stuff.
Fantastic. And still can never saying Tony Khan. It's Mr. Anthony Khan. He's the head of the studio. Yeah. Handing a script when she had her match at Collision, handing a script to the person she wrestled at the pay-per-view. She ripped up the script against Sheeta. I think that's just perfect.
One of the things too is like she was like, I think Anthony Khan, and then like she like named one other person. They started like playing the music, and she was like,
yeah. She's like, no,
I'm not done.
No. Yeah, that was fun too. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was good. So a fantastic segment all around, home run. The match was fun with the I guess ashtray in her hip that took out Sheeta, which was obvious. I get it. The ref wasn't supposed to see it. Yeah. Fun, silly. It was good. It fits the character, right? And for Sheeta, here's the thing. I have always been a proponent that we need to be a little bit more outside the box thinking with our groups. Case in point, I think the fallout of the Jericho Appreciation Society is more interesting because it's 2.0 Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, and Anna Jay. It's not all dudes. So what I would do is with Don Callis's strong connections in Japan, he gets in the ear of Hikaru Shida, and now we've got Don Callis cutting promos in the women's division, and wouldn't that fucking
for
rule?
A mean-spirited, ready to bloody you up Hikaru Shida.
Yeah. Who can give you a great match with anyone. She's proven that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can beat the fuck out of some people and will do it because Don Callis told her to.
Exactly. So interjecting Don Callis into the women's division and it making sense because he already has Takeshita. He already goes to Japan. We know all of these
things.
Some
of the creepy things he can say to these would-be opponents for Shida.
And just, he could like put his hand, down. Just be a creep. Love it.
Oh, he's always looking them up and down. Always.
Yeah. Be just the worst person. That's what I would think with Shida, but that's how I'm writing it. We'll see what happens. Now, going back to this segment here, she says, cue the standing ovation. And then, Tim, I'm just going to say it. Sky Blue comes out and interrupts, and she ain't it, brother. She ain't it.
Yep.
She had her match at Full Gear, triple threat, her champion at the time, Chris Statlander, and then now new champion, Julia Hart. And they had promos going into this. And this was when I was like, hey, maybe I'm being a little bit too hard on Sky Blue, because to be completely transparent, I don't think she's ever cut a promo. I don't think I've ever heard her talk, right? So what does she have to say? Fucking nothing, man. She sucks. Like,
yeah, this feels like the women's division's version of Action Andretti, where somebody was like, wow, they cheered for her. They must like her. Put her out there. And they were like, guys, there was a thing they liked about her in that moment. And it wasn't the character, right?
Yeah, it's not her arm drag takedown. You know what I mean? Like, she wrestles like she's in mud and she talks like she has peanut butter stuck to the roof of her mouth. Like, it's just, I get it. Some people think she's highly attractive. Neat. She is fine. Whatever you like. I don't care. That's not my point. She ain't it, dog. She ain't it. She is Wardlow to me. I get it. Appearance makes sense. No. So anyhow, as mentioned, at Full Gear, Julia Hart, though, becomes your champion as Chris Statlander hits her finisher, and then she pushes Chris Statlander off and then pins Sky Blue. Julia Hart, TBS champ. We shall see what happens, because that's another one.
I just really thought we were getting Sky Blue into the Julia Hart fold of things, right? Like, that's where I thought we were going. Like you said, let's get a women's faction going of, dark, spooky characters. Because now if you're telling me Julia Hart's the champion, but Sky Blue is also a dark character, but doing her own thing, like, you guys don't got enough to have, like, Kane and The Undertaker and the Brood. And, like, you don't got enough going on over there to pull this off.
I agree here. But in this, Sky Blue comes out, then we go to commercial, we come back, Anna Jay walks out, Ruby Soho walks out. Long story short, 2.0 is out there. Angela Parker, Ruby Soho have a little thing. The entire time, Saraya and Matt Menard are like, don't let this happen, which I think they should fuck. That should be the swerve. I think Angela Parker and Ruby Soho have some type of like, hey, I guess it just didn't work out. They get into a fight. They walk away from each other. Saraya and Matt Menard are like, so what's up? And then Saraya can just go, we'll make it out. And then that's it. That's what I would do.
A team of Matt Menard and Saraya going around fucking with people just being heels would be.
You want a taste?
TV.
You want a taste? Yeah. And Saraya's like, he said, do you want a taste?
Oh my God. Yeah. She's loud. She knows how to oversell in pro wrestling. Yeah. Like, oh, I want this now. Yeah. On a two-person power trip. You know what I mean? Like, just Matt Menard and Saraya.
Yeah. Because Ruby Soho, objectively, and I'm sorry if you disagree, but whatever. She's not good. She's another one. She oversells. Everything is, that was the best moment of my life. Fucking is the worst.
People always do the head shaking, right? Like AJ Styles used to be bad at this, where like everything's the head nod. Right?
Yeah. Well, and everything in the ring
D-Lo.
and everything in the ring when someone kicks out, it's the most astonishing thing that's ever happened. It's like, it's every fucking match with you, idiot. Like, how are you shocked still? Anyhow, so Ruby Soho sucks. Fire.
Get her out. 3.72 near falls a match with you.
Yeah, send her to TNA because I don't want her in AEW. That's my opinion. Play the music. Don't have her. But yeah, I would think the swerve would be Matt Menard. Look, Angela Parker is great. I do like Angela Parker. But Matt Menard and Saraya, that's the couple I want to see. But we'll see.
That is good stuff.
So anyhow, Angela Parker and her have a moment. They're distracted. Anna Jay then gets fucking distracted from that. And Sky Blue wins. Here's another thing about Sky Blue sucking. Here it is, Tim. I don't know if you caught this. So Sky Blue gets the victory. And the story is Matt Menard and Angela Parker are then like, hey, man, stop talking to Ruby Soho. They go into the ring. Anna Jay then is perplexed of how the fuck did you not have my back? While they're trying to tell that story, Tim, Sky Blue's dumbass is like, I won. I'm on the apron. Look at me. And it's like, move. They're telling the story behind you.
And again, I thought you were dark and like you're not supposed to be all like fucking.
Well, and I get it. She's from Chicago because that's one thing I caught that she said. She goes, I'm home. It's like, you're not punk. No one fucking cares. But apparently they do. I don't know. Chicago's a weird town. They also did the what chant during one of these promos. And I was like, I thought you guys were an A+ town. That's a D level shit.
The one thing I'll put a pin on this is I don't want necessarily the 2.0 guys to break up.
No. But that's what I'm saying. What in my mind, how I am envisioning it, I'll grab the pen again if you're watching YouTube, you always know what this means.
Yeah.
When I grab this, how I envision it is Angelo Parker and Ruby Soho have a fight. They then go off camera. Matt Menard and Saraya go like, "What's up?" And maybe they kiss, whatever. But then Matt Menard's like, "Hey, man, I know that I told you relationships and wrestling are bad, but I think I want to taste, you know?" And then Angelo Parker can be like, "I get it, but be careful." So it's never a thing where like they hate each other. It was just like I learned my lesson.
No,
you're going to have to learn yours.
No, I love this. All right. So we still do the Matt Menard and Saraya thing, but how we get there is Parker and Ruby are still getting more serious. And Menard's like, "What the fuck, bro? Like this and this and that, right?" And like, you know, it's becoming tense, but at the same time, the Saraya and Matt Menard thing starts to pick up, right? And he's like, you know, like kind of that thing, like Parker walks off as him and Menard are having a fight, and Saraya is left standing there. Ruby goes to console, you know, Parker, and then Saraya's like, "Oh, it'll be okay," you know, like rubbing his shoulders and stuff, and that's how they get together. And so they just kind of make this thing like, "All right, man, maybe we should just take a break from the tag team, right? You're in a relationship, I'm in a relationship. We'll go do our thing." They go do their thing, and then the women start becoming the heels in those. They start fucking with them, and then we get a reunification of 2.0 as faces because like they both break out of toxic relationships to be back together. They want to start hanging out again, right? Like maybe we should like old times, go hang out, play some video games. You want to taste? And they're like, "You can't do that today. We've got to go pick up the fucking, you know, the groceries, the whatever." Like, "Oh, okay, all right, right." Like, yes, there you're driving the wedge between the guys, and then we get a reunification. They're both like, "Get out of here, get lost, toots."
Yeah, and the little things that they could do is he gets the comb that's a knife, you know, and he flicks it out, and Ruby's like, "We don't do that," and like makes him put it away, you know. And then Matt Menard's like, "You want a taste?" And she's like, "Say that you want a match. We don't say no one knows what a taste means, you know." And he's like,
"Yeah, they changed them up, right? Match? They're all like, what's it, like watered down versions of themselves eventually. They're all in nice, respectable clothes, right?"
And the way dude, yes, I love this because then the way they come back together is you find some way that they're in the ring, all that stuff. The women are like, "You guys are losers," right? And then they're like standing in the ring together, and then Matt Menard grabs that comb, that's the knife, and he flicks it out,
just hands
it to Angelo Parker, and Angelo Parker,
yes,
and that's it.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. Oh, and then we're fucking yes, you know, whatever it is, right? Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, let's get back on track here. Okay, next up,
we are coming up with solid gold today. The episodes alone on here, we've booked months worth of programming for you, Tony. I know you're watching.
We got it. Yeah. I'm a dinosaur.
You call yourself Theo, but I know.
I'm going to find your fucking house if Luchasaurus says I'm a dinosaur. I will get on your yacht, whatever.
We are owed money. We are owed money.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyhow. All right. Backstage, Wardlow, for whatever fucking reason, doing curls, facing a truck. That's what he's doing. And then Renee interviews him. Let's say that again. Backstage, Wardlow is doing curls, facing a loading truck.
Which is where people work. Yeah. You've worked in the MMA world for years, right? Didn't the guys take their weights before a match, by the way, just go lift some weights outside, like by the loading dock? Happened all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, what the fuck was this? Because if you're going to do that, you fucking attention to detail dum-dums, because I know it's wrapped, he's there somewhere, have him doing the curls where he's facing MJF on the truck, right? He could be doing the curls, looking at the wrapped truck where MJF's big ass head is there, and then be like, "I'm going to fucking kill him. I'm going to fuck." And that would make more sense instead of doing curls by a loading truck. Anyhow, Renee straight up says, "Hey, what are we waiting for? Like, come on." And he goes, "My time is my time, and the downfall of the devil is going to happen when I want." And AR Fox goes, hey, I get what you're saying. Shut up. I did that with Darby. And Wardlow's like, I don't need your advice, and headbutts him. Credit to him. He does then sell the headbutt. I did like that. He's like, oh, that would kind of hurt. Little detail that I liked. But again, should have been Sean Spears, not AR Fox.
Yeah. This worries me. The continued hanging around of Wardlow worries me that he's the devil.
No.
Theo said, you want to come by my house? Fine. Come bring your PCs and I'll fix them up so you can get better stream quality. And I told him that's a great idea. Thanks, Tony Khan.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Pay for it. We'll fly out there.
Give me a plane ticket, first class, and I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there in a heartbeat. I'll skip Thanksgiving, whatever.
Yeah.
Turkey's bullshit.
First class,
I think
pre-boarding, all that.
Yeah. So this is what I think happens with Wardlow. You want to hear it? I'm not booking this, but this is what I think happens. Wardlow's hanging out, and he's gonna beat up AR.
Wardlow.
I still think we should do Sean Spears Wardlow. That's my thought. Whatever, but we're buying time is what I'm getting to, right? By the time Wardlow is ready to pounce, I believe by somehow, I don't know how yet, by somehow MJF is the heel. MJF will go heel sooner rather than later.
And then Wardlow is.
And then it's the downfall of the devil, Wardlow, and he's a babyface again. Yeah. That's what I think they're going to. That's what I think they are going to do. I don't think that's what I would do.
I want Wardlow to be the actual Tasmanian devil. I just want him running around yelling, Wardlow, just busting through stuff, because that would be better than this. This sucks.
Well, it has potential, but I have no faith because it's Wardlow.
So what if, like, Wardlow, like he said, he's watching. The problem is the devil is doing this too, and now so is Samoa Joe, because you could have Wardlow watching. Here's a cool thing you could do. Wardlow's watching. Everybody's getting to MJF. He's still running around, can't make it. MJF's getting his ass kicked left and right, in the back, right, because people are after him. And finally Wardlow is, around. But, like, when it comes to a moment, Wardlow's like, fuck, dude, you got no fucking pride. You know what I mean? Like, just like fucking, feels a little sympathy and maybe helps him take out a motherfucker, right? And then, like, MJF and Wardlow are, all right, fine. And then Wardlow's like, we're not cool like that, but, like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking, you know what I mean? And just, like, lets him be.
Well, Tim, let's have a little bit more fun with that idea, since we're having so much fun with ideas here.
Mm-hmm.
What if Adam Cole is still injured, right? Like, legitimately, Adam Cole is still injured. Mm-hmm. So you do that exact same thing. Wardlow's, hey, man, look, I feel bad for you, but fuck off, right?
Yeah.
The next week, MJF comes out and it's like, all of this turmoil, all of these things, and the person I never considered to be on my side, Wardlow, got me through this moment. And then MJF says, hey, Adam Cole can't defend these tag titles, these Ring of Honor tag titles. Want to be my partner? And Wardlow's like, man, fuck, all right, I guess. And then we have them as tag.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I remember your paychecks.
Then you could even flip the whole Adam Cole's like, I thought we were friends. You'd be like, yeah, but you said we could have multiple friends. And be like, yeah, but you'd be like, yeah, but you got friends with Roddy. You'd be like, I just told him we're not friends anymore. And it'd be like, oh, well, why'd you do that? You should go talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, flip it. Now Adam Cole's like, you motherfucker. Like, I thought we were, you know what I mean? Like, we were.
Yeah. And it's Wardlow that you're picking? You can't trust
Wardlow,
him.
That dude, he was going to beat you up, dude. Don't trust him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm. I like it. All right, let's get into the main event here.
Fun with ideas.
John Moxley. That's the title. Call it that. Fun with ideas.
Fun with ideas.
All right, so we get into the main event that has an overtime, which is kind of cool. But it's John Moxley, Mark Briscoe. Two of the best.
We missed about the women's match, by the way.
What? Huh.
It was
it's time
before.
Right before the main event.
The main event. We missed it. Damn it. Anyway.
Damn it. We're coming up too many ideas. Okay.
Yeah.
Too many
ideas. It was so late. Like you're saying, there was an overrun because it was so late. I was starting to think, I was like, oh, did they put the women in the main event? And then, of course, they didn't.
No, they didn't. What do you think? It was Britt Baker wrestling? All right. So we get two of the fan favorites here. John Moxley taking on Mark Briscoe. kind of put themselves in a little bit of a hole because we love both of these guys. Mark Briscoe, oddly enough, the only one to bleed, not John Moxley. They even brought that up on commentary. And fun. John Moxley wins.
Going. Yeah.
No harm, no foul. Perfect. They even shake hands at the end to say they respect each other, and they go their separate ways. Yeah. Now, Tim.
Yeah, nobody bet their money on Briscoe here. We thought this is exactly where it's going.
Yeah. So put a pin in it earlier. Let's review it now. Here is the Continental Classic and how it ends. Ready for this?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
World's End for the Continental Classic title, the New Japan Strong title, and the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship. It is from the gold bracket, John Moxley. And from the blue bracket, it's Eddie Kingston. Because Eddie Kingston's not going to fucking lose his title in the first pool. It has to be the payoff that he loses the fucking championship.
In the final match. Yeah.
In the final match. And who is he going to lose it to?
Because what they didn't say was, this is on the line and at the end the winner gets these. He's defending it every time. So he's got to win every fucking match.
Exactly. Yeah. If they would have said winner gets it currently during this tournament, Eddie Kingston is no longer your heavyweight champion or New Japan Strong champion.
Suspended for the moment. Yeah.
That's a different story. But the final, actually, I even think now that you described how the tournament works, I think before the final, Eddie Kingston beats Bryan Danielson. That's how I think he gets to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it's great. And yes, we didn't hit on that because that kind of happened, I think, at Full Gear too. That announcement, I was like, whoa, right? Like, yeah. So now it brings up the question. It's like, okay, so forever, like moving forward, the ROH World Championship and the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion are the same title, or like they're defended at the same time? Like, how do these Triple Crown things work? Because this other thing is a yearly thing, right?
Well, I don't know how this Continental Classic thing works, right? This is how I think it works. And I'm just, here it is. This is how I think it, I don't even know if this is how I book it. This is just how I think it works. Eddie Kingston continually says, I'm defending both. He clarifies that point. Yep. He says, I'm not just doing this, I'm doing. So the insinuation
he's essentially merged those titles anyway. Yeah.
Right. But what the insinuation is that he could do one or the other. He doesn't have to do both. Right. So I think what we're going to get, my thought, John Moxley beats Eddie Kingston for all three championships. John Moxley's the guy.
Triple crown.
Eddie Kingston. Yeah, Eddie Kingston goes into despair. We get fun Eddie Kingston, self-doubt, eventually going to MJF and Eddie Kingston for the title. Side note. John Moxley loses some, again, I don't know how, but like he will lose the New Japan title in New Japan. I think they will say, we may have too many fucking titles here. So we may do a merging of the title, Continental Classic and International Champion, Orange Cassidy, winner takes all, merging this shit together. And then there's that. And then he could be the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Champion to get you to buy fucking pay-per-views. Because side note, guess who's at Ring of Honor now? Not official, but did you see the news?
Nope.
Ronda Rousey made her Ring of Honor.
See her. Yeah. You think that's like a thing, or she just did a thing? Is she going to be there, or is she just like making the rounds?
I think she did how is this perceived? Right. And then I think Tony Khan said, well, if you did one, you want to do the pay-per-view. Here's the check. And I think at that pay-per-view, Eddie Kingston's the best wrestler ever. Right. I'm not saying, but from a pay-per-view buys and interest level, I think John Moxley as your champion is a little bit stronger than Eddie Kingston. So then John Moxley is your champion at that pay-per-view, and we got all the stars hanging out in Ring of Honor. Book it.
All right. So that was Dynamite, right?
That was Dynamite, Tim.
Dynamite.
And
right, well,
special program alert, because I want you guys to all watch the fun shit. Saturday at 6:00 in the One True Time Zone, we have a special episode of Rampage, then followed by 2 hours of Collision. So you get 3 hours on a Saturday. So if you don't want to see your family, watch some wrestling.
Who wants to see that? Then let's do the quick hits on things we may have missed on AEW Full Gear. We did get ROH World Championship, Eddie Kingston defeating Jay Lethal to retain in the 0 hour. Fair enough.
Come on.
Claudio Castagnoli defeating Buddy Matthews, as he should, in the 0 hour. ROH World Tag Team Championships were on the line because MJF did solicit the help of Samoa Joe to defeat the Guns. Yeah. We talked about Sting, Darby Allin, Adam Copeland defeating Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus. AEW International Championship Orange Cassidy defeating John Moxley. We talked about that. Timeless Tony Storm won the AEW Women's World Championship over Hikaru Shida. The World Tag Team Championship ladder match, which is another one you predicted wrong, but I got right. Ricky Starks and Big Bill defeating FTR and La Facción Ignoble. Nailed it. And the Kings
LFI.
of the Black Throne. Yeah, LFI. Yep. I like it. Ricky Starks and Big Bill. That's who, out of those groups right now, that's who should wear the belts.
Side note, one thing that was actually really funny, and I'll send you the clip, the YouTube video. In legit real, I don't think knew. Ricky Starks found out in real time that Big Bill and Lexi Nair are engaged, and he thought that was the cutest thing in the world. He's like, real? And then they do an interview with her, and it's after he finds out that moment, and he's talking about, I forget what, like, oh yeah, we're good champions. By the way, I know staging, and when you talk on staging, you always go stage right first, but you always go to Big Bill. Why is that? And he legitimately does not know that Ricky's going to say that. And he has the most boyish 12-year-old I got caught kissing a girl look where he's like, woo. And she's even like, why are we talking about it? It's cool. I like it. They're fun.
Funny.
They're fun. I like them together.
That is fun. Let's see. We talked about Julia Hart defeating Statlander and Sky Blue for the TBS Championship. Swerve Strickland defeating Hangman. Texas Death Match. MJF defeated Jay White in the main event, but we did not talk about the Golden Jets defeating the Young Bucks. The Golden Jets get the World Tag Team title spot. They quickly got disposed of in the back by Absolute and
Ricky and Big Bill.
The Young Bucks, did they do a Chris Jericho troll job with the temper tantrum at the end there, like hitting the chair on the ring, and then was that to emulate that? Was that what that was?
Chris Jericho, 1,000,000%.
Yeah. But the story there is they're pissed at
Kenny
for making them go through all of this, basically.
The other story that I think, if you take a step back and if you're an AEW historian, is the Young Bucks can't beat Kenny with a partner. Because arguably the greatest tag team match of all time.
Kenny Omega and fill in the blank.
Well, it was Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page beating the Young Bucks. Yeah. And then you fast forward.
That's what I mean.
It's Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho.
That's what I mean. Their kryptonite is Kenny Omega and whoever. Kenny Omega and
that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they again, not next week, but let's
you
say
start doing that. He could be like, I've beaten you with every partner. You could just start naming partners and I'll beat you. And they'll name a partner and he beats them with them. And then they name another partner and he beats them with them. They start going like, God damn, they're like, fucking Hornswoggle, right? They bring in Hornswoggle, he wins, right? Like, just fucking do it. Yeah.
That would be a fun payoff, because if you turn Kenny heel back to where he was, 69 Me Don, that Kenny Omega, which was the best. If he says something like that, where he's like, come on, Young Bucks, just what do you want? What do you want? And then they go, Cutler. It's you and Cutler versus us. And Cutler's like, the fuck?
I can beat you. Yeah.
The
fuck?
Like,
no, you can't.
Yeah. And you just have Kenny
You can
Omega.
even see Omega be like, fuck, right? But be like, all right, no, we got it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We're fine. Yeah.
Oh, and if you wanted to have a build, you could do MJF Adam Cole workout style montages with Kenny Omega and Cutler. And that
they would lean into that so much. It would be so
that
good.
would be great. Yeah, that was
fun with ideas. We have so much fun with ideas. We would like you to join along and have fun with ideas as Tom drinks vodka out of a milk jug over there. And this is where we get all the fun with ideas for this show. So come
is
back
it water? Who knows?
We'll never know. Sure is peeling the paint off the walls over there in the studio, but hey, come back with us next week for some more fun with ideas on the next episode of the Spanish Announce Table.
The Spanish announce table.